I look back, if it's not there, that's going to bother me probably till I go to my grave.
You're unbeaten, unrespected underdogs by 17.
The gamblers bet with their dollars, not with their hearts, and you play the game with your heart. So we'll see who's right and who's wrong.
21 years, a Nebraska winner. Every year a bowl game. Never a season with fewer than 9 wins. 10 years ago, this man of quiet strength would have had his national title with a tie, but nobly, he went for the win.
This is for the national championship for Nebraska.
So much success, yet imperfect, incomplete, without that national title. For 28 autumns, Bobby Bowden has searched for that magical season. The last 7 years, his teams have won 10 or more games. His obsession for the championship fed by tortuous flirtations with ill fate. Championships denied by a kicker's slight misdirection. Now a new day, a new year, another golden chance. 2 coaching legends connected in so many ways. Tonight, one will be separate. One will be national champion. Happy New Year, everyone, from the Orange Bowl in Miami. A sellout in the high 70s. The temperature 75 degrees on a windy Miami night. The Federal Express Orange Bowl features number 1, Florida State, the Seminoles against the Cornhuskers of Nebraska. It's about 50 degrees colder in Lincoln as the fans of the Big Red root for an upset against the Seminoles tonight. And for the start of the presentation of this classic, let's go down to the field in our national anthem. Sung tonight by Dorian Harewood, actor who will be seen in a new NBC series.
See by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets burst there, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of love?
Dorian Harewood has this crowd ready for the introductions of the 2 teams. Harewood will be seen on NBC This Week in Viper, a series that will debut tomorrow night. You will hear throughout the course of this evening a predominance of fans for the Noles, Florida State to the north, Tallahassee, and they're ready for Renegade to lead the team on the field. Wearing their white The garneted gold of Florida State. And their great All-America Heisman Trophy winner, Charlie Ward, the quarterback. Ward, a phenomenal season. Tremendous athlete. Thomasville, Georgia, to the north of Tallahassee, the Rose City. And this man blossoming into one of the nation's great athletes. And here comes Florida State. Cornhuskers of Nebraska. You got that right. Thanks, O.J. We'll be visiting with you often during the course of the night. First piece of news, Florida State won the toss and deferred. Here's this high-powered offense, but Bobby Bowden has said, I want him on defense first. Freshman to kick it off, Bentley, Damon Benning, and Corey Dixon are deep. Beautiful kick by the freshman that sends Dixon into the end zone. He was the Huskers' most valuable player in last year's Orange Bowl, and Nebraska will begin at the 20 with Tommy Frazier. Now an experienced sophomore. He started this game as a freshman last year, said he tried to do too much. His supporting cast, Calvin Jones, second to Mike Rozier in all-time rushing for the Huskers. He's only a junior. Schlesinger's the blocker. Dixon and Muhammad, the short, small, speedy wide receivers. Gerald Armstrong, the tight end. For Nebraska on the front line, they're huge, almost 300-pound average. Lundberg, Zadika, Graham, Malin, and Wiegert, 3 of the 5, all Big 8. They'll outsize Florida State. Can they outquick them? Jones, and there's an early hint, loses a yard. Todrick McIntosh, 94, led the charge. He's joined by John Nance, Derek Alexander in the front three, Roberson, Ken Alexander, not related, Reboll, and Brooks. One of the All-Americans at safety is Bush and Coates with Sawyer and Abraham, speedy NFL-type corners. They can cover man. Second 11, Frazier on the toss. Jones got some running room. And he's cartwheeled at the 27-yard line, brought down by safety Bush, who once worked here at the Orange Bowl, University of Miami, as an usher.
Dick, this is the value of Tommy Frazier, a sophomore who ran the option in high school. That pitch to Jones, excellent job of getting the ball upfield, but again, you saw Nebraska in a 2nd and 10 situation. If they have fewer than a dozen 2nd and 10 situations tonight, they're in good shape. More than that, they're in real trouble.
Out of that option I, 3rd and 4. Frazier rolling. He's a good runner. And he has the first down and 5 yards more to the 35-yard line before he is tackled by Richard Coase. James Roberson with a piece as well. 10 yards for Frazier.
This is one of the things that Tommy Frazier and Nebraska wants to do. The pursuit that way. Frazier goes back. There is no question in my mind that that is a designed rollout. He is the 2nd leading rusher on the ball club. Is very confident carrying the football. Wraps the ball up. Good pickup. Nice first down.
Frazier with 704 yards rushing this year. He's from Bradenton, Florida, to the northwest. Shouting out a change. What do you say?
Audible.
How many of these?
30% of the plays he calls at the line of scrimmage, Dick.
Keeps it himself. And then slips at the 39. That's twice that a Husker runner has slipped on the grass. It seemed to be in beautiful condition, but there was rain mid-afternoon today.
Well, it's interesting that the Nebraska start here is Frazier. Give the ball to Tommy Frazier. Let him run the football. All this is to set up Calvin Jones. The more they can run this option, keep this offense on the field, fewer chances Charlie Ward has.
Big 8, they play on the artificial carpet. The only game this season was at UCLA's Rose Bowl on the grass. And this is Jones straight ahead. Junior from Omaha, who grew up listening and watching the Huskers and dreaming that someday he would wear that bright scarlet jersey for Nebraska.
One of the things Nebraska likes to do inside is run the track. You see one here, and also a great lead block by the fullback Schlesinger, who is such a big factor in this offense for Nebraska. There are hammers all over the place on this Nebraska offensive line and fullback position.
Second time that young Tommy Frazier looks at a 3rd and 4. The toss to Jones, looking for a block, and is able to squeak along the sidelines. Where did he step out? At the 49. Oh, let's wait. Another official marking down back at the 44. That won't be a first down.
Again, though, one of the keys to the option working is control on the line of scrimmage. You cannot allow any penetration.
So on a 4th and 2, on comes the punting team.
But they get one first down. Frankly, Dick, they needed more than that. For psychologically, more than anything else, Tom Osborne needed his team for a good sustained drive and a couple 3 first downs.
Nothing else to keep Charlie Ward and the high-octane offense of Florida State off the field. Byron Bennett to punt. James Colsey is back. Oh, it's Corey Sawyer. Sawyer at the 19-yard line. And Florida State, when we return, will put it in play for Bobby Bowden.
The Federal Express Orange Bowl is brought to you by Federal Express. For documents, packages, and freight worldwide, our most important package is yours. By the all-new Ford Mustang, it is what it was, and more. By Coopers & Lybrand, not just knowledge, know-how. And by Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light.
Florida State begins at its 19-yard line. Charlie Ward, the quarterback. Sean Jackson and William Floyd, the runners. Matt Fryer, Kez McCorvey, Kevin Knox, the wide receivers in this fast break offense. Loriano, Tyre, Shiver, McNeil, and Farrell, the offensive line. Not as big as Nebraska's, but obviously they've done their job well as they have led the nation in offense. Ward, while he's a terrific runner, there are no running plays. He ad-libs those.
And he's underneath center, which is also very unusual for Charlie Ward.
He hands off. His runner is Sean Jackson, and Nebraska was ready. Terry Keneally, a junior from Hyannis, Nebraska, led the charge.
Keneally played 8-man high school football in Nebraska.
There's Trev Alberts, the Butkus Award winner, is the top linebacker in the country. His right arm protected, dislocated that elbow in the final game against Oklahoma.
And Florida State goes right back to the line of scrimmage, Dick. This time is Ward underneath center, or is he in the shotgun? Little changing going on here for Florida State at the outset.
You pro football fans, this Florida State offense not unlike the one Jim Kelly runs up in Buffalo. On 2nd and 10. The give inside, and hit in the backfield is Jackson. Mike Anderson from Grand Island, Nebraska, the tacklers. Dante Jones, Kevin Raymakers, Terry Keneally up front, although Alberts plays right on the line of scrimmage. Stuart Anderson and Beeler, the linebackers. Miles, the best cover man, and Tyrone Williams, who went to high school with Frazier up north in Bradenton, and Wright and Reese are at safety. 2 plays, a -1 for Florida State.
And this is the 3rd snap in a row that Ward is underneath center, Dick. Now he goes back in the shotgun. Does he stay there? No. I formation.
Floyd and Jackson behind him. It's Ward's first pass. He gets away from Alberts and now scrambles. And is out to the 27-yard line, shy of the first down. Lorenzo Brinkley and Toby Wright, the tacklers. And Florida State will have to give up the ball.
Now, Bobby Bowden on the sideline, I'm sure these plays are scripted. Why he chose to go with Charlie Ward underneath center, maybe to prove a point, I don't know. It accomplished absolutely nothing, and you put your Heisman Trophy winning quarterback in jeopardy on that run.
So Sean Liss, freshman from St. Petersburg, average year punting, under 40-yard average. And he hits an end-over-end line drive that is mishandled a bit. And finally, Kareem Moss is smothered in a sea of white jerseys. A 45-yard punt, 5 yards on the return, and we have a timeout. That big offensive line of Nebraska will start from the 27-yard line. Derek Alexander, number 90, who is second on the team in tackle, says size doesn't make up for the speed of the Noles.
I think their weakness is their offensive line. I mean, that might be the strength of their team that they think, but I think it's their offensive line. They're big, very big, slower guys, much slower than our defensive line or our linebackers. And I think that we can outrush the passer as well as beat them off the ball on the run. And if we're in the backfield, none of their plays will be able to work.
Alexander, a great athlete from Jacksonville. His idol is Bruce Smith. Says, boy, I hope I get to meet him someday. Just a sophomore. And either team impressive with their first possession. And now Nebraska, their first time with the ball. 6 runs, no passes. Frazier, a yard at best. John Nance, the nose guard, in on the tackle.
Dick, if I can go back to the comment that was made by Derek Alexander, Bobby Bowden intentionally sacrifices size for speed in that defensive line. Very much along the lines of what Jimmy Johnson did when he was here with the Miami Hurricanes. The two staffs were very close. Bobby sent his people up here. Jimmy said, get rid of all those fat guys. Get guys who can run down running backs, and that's the defense they now execute.
Dixon and Reggie Ball to the left in this formation. With only Jones in the backfield, he gets the toss. And another 1-yard pickup. It'll be 3rd and 8. Derek Brooks, a speedy linebacker at 220. He can run with the backs. A 4-4 linebacker is Brooks.
He can also hit like a guy who was 230, but there was excellent support from the inside out. If you're going to beat the pitch, Brooks comes from the top of the screen. Watch, he takes on the blocker. That's Muhammad Abdul, and then Phil from the inside out by the defensive back. An excellent job
by Mac Knight, number 19.
Knight. That's the way you stop the option.
So from the shotgun, Frazier to Jones, who staggers and takes a loss at the 22.
And Dick, that's on Tommy Frazier. He did not give Calvin Jones any chance to cleanly catch that ball and turn upfield. He just drilled it into his hip. Now Frazier's only completing 47% of his passes, but see, he gives Jones no chance.
And Alexander right there to make sure. So Byron Bennett, the punter, in for Nebraska. Corey Sawyer drifts back to the Seminole 40-yard line. Short kick. Fair catch, but it bounces and takes a Florida State bounce down at midfield by Nebraska. Lance Gray, a fullback, grounds it. Let's go to O.J. Simpson.
Well, guys, you were wondering why Florida State had Charlie under the center. Well, Trumpy, you play for Bill Walsh. You know that early in the game, he likes to show the defense something just to see what they would do for it. And the word I get from the players here, what they were trying to see what Nebraska would do defensively if they lined up that way, so that later on in the game, they obviously have some play that they're going to use to take advantage of it.
But O.J., agree with me. That is a total lack of respect for Nebraska. I mean, you give up a series to your opponent, and the opponent is 11-0. Dick, I don't understand that.
From the 49 of Nebraska, Charlie Ward throws into the flat. Matt Fryer, and Fryer out of bounds at the 41-yard line. Tyrone Williams, the defender. Fryer from Live Oak, Florida. What a high school player he was. 41 touchdowns, 220 catches.
But, Trumpy, I got to tell you, I don't agree with you there. I think this team, he has enough confidence in his offense that he knows that this is going to be a game that may go to full 60 minutes, and I'm sure that he knows he's going to have an opportunity late in the game when it's 3rd and long, and they're setting up something. They saw something that Nebraska did that they plan to take advantage of later on.
Okay, Juice, but I want you to, by halftime, come up with the last coach you saw give up a series in a national championship game to see what the opponent's going to do later on.
2nd and 2 for Ward. He fires incomplete. Intended over the middle for Tomerick Vanover, number 80.
That went through 4 hands, Dick, not 2.
And the first flag of the day, and it's offside against Nebraska. That will give Florida State a first down.
Looked like it was Trev Alberts who was lined up in the neutral zone, which in college they pay attention to. In the pros, they stopped doing that.
There's Alberts. Offsides, defense lining up in the neutral zone. First down for the 5-yard penalty.
There he is. There's that right elbow he's wearing the brace. He was concerned yesterday as whether or not they were going to let him wear the brace because he had to put 1.5 inches of foam on the outside of it. But with that dislocated elbow, he is a key member of this defensive front for Nebraska.
Led them in tackles, led them in sacks with 15. On first down, Ward. A quick trigger, and it's complete. Kez McCorvey to the Nebraska 25. Darren Miles and John Reese make the hit 11 yards.
This is the part of the fast break offense that I'm not sure many defenses can keep up with. You not only have to contend with the spread formation offensively, but you can't miss a tackle against these guys. If you miss a tackle, then you're just one-on-one with the next tackler, and Florida State back to the line of scrimmage in the hurry up.
And it was Terry Keneally. Was he drawn off? Dead ball. False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty.
Looks like the left guard is going to come out of there. See if he does in fact move. Yeah, I think he heard the official's whistle blow.
Patrick McNeil, a Giant junior from Palmetto, Florida. Tom Osborne in his 21st year said he was going to give himself to 35 years of age to decide. He thought he was headed toward college or high school administration, educational psychology major, his doctorate, and Bob Devaney retired and named Osborne. That was a big surprise back in those days, and he has produced everything but the national title. First and 15 for Ward. Wide open, McCorvey, and it'll be first and goal. 20 yards, and Ward with a rope to his receiver.
One of the new aspects of this Nebraska defense is threatening the blitz. It's beautifully picked up here by Florida State, and you've got man-to-man coverage. And one of the places that Nebraska has tried to add speed on their team is at the corners so they can blitz. Again, that time Ward and McCorvey beat the blitz.
McCorvey, who had 74 catches on the season, that was second all time to Ron Sellers in Florida State history. Ward turns and throws back to William Floyd, and that one goes awry as Ed Stewart not fooled a bit. Stewart, a junior from Chicago, a 7-yard loss.
Dick played it perfectly. Now that's a young man who has been watching some film, paying attention to what the coaches tell him. It's the rollout. It's going to go the other way. Watch 44. See, Stewart 32 is on the blitz. He's trying to keep Floyd in. He does an excellent job.
Juan Laureano out there to try to help. Stewart makes a big play defensively to bring up second down and 17.
Yeah, Dick, if Stewart's not out there, there's nobody to make the tackle. That's how big a play that was.
Charlie Ward wasn't going to be able to get the play off and spends a timeout with 5:31 left in the opening quarter. Shots from the South Florida sky. Tonight's overhead work courtesy of the Goodyear Blimp, Stars and Stripes, based in Pompano Beach, Florida. At the controls, Captain Larry Chambers from Lighthouse Point, Florida, as cameraman Bob Roos there. Second and 17, Florida State. Scoreless here in the first quarter. 5:31 remaining.
Second down.
There's
For the first time, Warwick Dunn, the freshman from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. His mother, a policewoman, shot and killed a year ago in January. She's only 36, left the whole family. Doug Williams has helped, and so has Charlie Ward. And he is a terrific talent. Leads Florida State in touchdowns with 10. Ward under pressure, and down he goes at the 30. A rare sack of Charlie Ward. Trev Alberts, the great player from Cedar Falls, Iowa. Alberts makes his presence known, and Mike Anderson there to assist.
Well, we know about his elbow. He's had very little contact on that dislocated elbow. You can see it's the right one. He grabs a hold of Charlie with the left one and hangs on. Will assist on the sack Young man who is a GTE academic All-American, going to be a lawyer someday.
10 sacks all year. That's how well Florida State has protected Ward, or he has scrambled away from pressure, but Alberts nails him for a 10-yard loss. So it is 3rd down and long. They have to get to the 1 for a first down, and Ward throws toward the end zone, and no one there, but no flag, no flag.
Knox fell down. He slipped. 81 Knox. Yeah, 81 Knox slipped. Knox had run a good pattern, and this is where Charlie Ward was looking. Whoa, I take that back. He didn't slip. There was serious contact there.
And Ward said, hey, wait a minute, you can't do that. Now here's Scott Bentley, the freshman, much heralded freshman from Aurora, Colorado. This is a 47-yarder, would match his longest of the year. And he hooks it. Plenty of wind behind him, but he's wide to the left. So Bentley is now only 2 for 8, over 30 yards this season.
Dick, this wasn't even close. Of course, this Florida State football team historically has not kicked well in the Orange Bowl. Spot's good.
And of course, field goals have tormented Bobby Bowden in Florida State the last 2 years, when possible national championships were lost, not on New Year's Day, but in the middle of the season. Timeout, 4:26 left, still scoreless. Final games of the NFL regular season tomorrow on NBC, a doubleheader in the final game of this bowl season as far as teams battling for number 1. Brad Scott, the offensive coordinator of the Seminoles.
Yeah, he's talking to Charlie Ward there. Now Frazier gets his turn.
Best starting position for Nebraska, their 3rd possession at the 30 after the missed field goal. And Frazier, his second pass, incomplete. Tremaine Bell was the closest red jersey. Ken Alexander and Derek Brooks there for Florida State.
Dick, my initial observation here, Nebraska trying to be a little fancy. You know, not really running right at this defense. This is a rollout by Frazier. Yes, he's an option quarterback, but with a completion percentage around 47%, things have to go very well for Frazier to throw the ball and throw the ball accurately. Why have him roll out?
The one completed pass was for -7 yards, remember, to Calvin Jones, who takes the handoff, has some blocking. And Jones barrels to the 39-yard line. Alexander and Bush make the stop. Ken Alexander, 36, academic star as well, and has won a National Football Foundation scholarship of $18,000, and if not into pro football, will go on to law school.
I also went to New York for a Football Foundation dinner and room with Trev Alberts. And when you ask him about what'd you think of Trev Alberts, his comment was,
he's all country. Alberts, who didn't have a TV set in his home until he was a senior. 3rd down and a long one. And Frazier will take it himself for a first down to the 44. Alexander trips him up with an assist by Richard Coase and Derek Brooks.
one of the things that Nebraska believes they can do is when this defense over pursues, you can cut back, and this is exactly what Tommy Frazier does. The first read, it's covered. Now watch him cut back, and he picks up the first down. This defense is designed to pursue all over the field, and they are susceptible to the cutbacks and reverses.
40 yards now for Nebraska, number 3 in the nation in rushing this season. Play action again by Frazier. Lots of time, flag down, and he throws incomplete to Gerald Armstrong, the tight end, who led the team in touchdowns this year with 5.
Dick, again, as we wait to call, the Nebraska coaches told us the one thing they had to be in this game tonight was unpredictable. Well, with 3:05 to go in the first quarter, they have filled the bill offensively.
The legal formation, Nebraska only had 6 men on the line of scrimmage.
Here's what happened. Either this guy's got to be on the line, or this guy has to be on the line because the slot man is here. He was not on the line, and that made it illegal. And Tom Osborne, Dr. Tom, hates things like that. This guy is a preparation freak, like a lot of great coaches are. He wants every detail handled, and that just makes his team look sloppy, which is a reflection on him.
It's one of those defeats for Osborne 10 years ago when he went for 2 against Miami. A tie would have sealed the national championship, but he went for the victory, lost the national title. Down on the slip is Frazier again. Derek Alexander, the defensive end, had cut off his path.
Here's Alexander right here. Fights off the block, goes to the outside. They had it covered all the way. Knight is on the outside for the pitchman. Alexander on the quarterback. Again, great respect for a defensive lineman. You put him on a quarterback on the option. Normally you have to have a linebacker out there to make that tackle.
Alexander, who lettered in 5 sports at Raines High School in Jacksonville. 3rd and 13. Good protection for Frazier. It's deflected, and Corey Dixon cannot come up with it.
And Dick Calvin Jones was wide open in the flat. The little swing pattern, Calvin Jones would have still been running.
Let's see who deflected the ball at the line of scrimmage.
Looks like Alexander get his hand up.
Yes,
yeah,
he did.
Derek Alexander, number 90, having a big first quarter for the Seminoles. Again, pressure, and then gets up in the air.
So Corey Sawyer will drift back on the return as Bennett punts again, his 3rd in this opening quarter. Another very short kick into the wind. It takes a Husker roll and will die inside the 25. A reminder, tomorrow on NFL Live, we'll hear from Joe Montana in his first season in the AFC and the Chiefs Super Bowl prospects. Plus, Mike Ditka will have his first Iron Mike Awards, the guys who displayed true grit this year. Still hoping, maybe I'll get one of those. Then our doubleheader lineup. All the early games have playoff or home field implications. The key late game, Denver at the Raiders sold-out Coliseum. The Raiders win, they're in. That's all tomorrow. 2 for the price of none on NBC. Florida State heavily favored, more than 2 touchdowns, and Nebraska scoreless late in the first quarter. Ward out of the shotgun with Sean Jackson. He throws to Jackson. Incomplete.
Well, this is the aspect of this offense that has been so good for Florida State. Hitting the fullback or the running back out of the backfield is just the swing pattern when you cover everything else. Unfortunately, it takes great fundamentals by the quarterback to make the completion, and Charlie just slings it out there. He doesn't throw it. But if they can complete that pass, this is an unstoppable offense.
Osborne has gone to a 2nd defensive unit to rest him. He's got Peter, Noonan, Moore, and Harris on the front line. Bud Coleman at linebacker along with Lorenzo Brinkley. This one is incomplete. Another rifle shot that Kevin Knox couldn't find.
Well, for a quarterback who for this season has completed 70% of his passes, is it safe to say that Mr. Ward is a Heisman headache here? He is not performing up to his own personal standards.
3rd and 10. Ward is completed 4 of 7, missed on the last 3. He sends Vanover to the left, Fryer to the right. In the slot is McCorvey, his favorite target. He throws this one long for Vanover, too long and too wide, out of bounds. The Wind taking that one. Good coverage by Tyrone Williams. And Florida State 3 and out.
Yeah, Nebraska came with a corner blitz. It did its job. You're going to see the corner blitz come up here. Good pressure by Nebraska. It's picked up well, but at the same time, you can see people loose right in Charlie Ward's face. Last year in this Orange Bowl, Nebraska banged Charlie Ward pretty good. They hit him pretty hard.
That was Dwayne Harris that was hitting Ward as he released the ball. Sean Liss. End over end. Corey Dixon has some running room. 35-40. He's in the open. 50. 2 men to beat. Got a blocker. 30. Corey Dixon down the sidelines. Cuts back. Touchdown, Nebraska. A flag is down. Hold on. A flag is down back at the 33 the fastest man on the Nebraska team, Corey Dixon, may be for naught. A 47-yard punt, and now it's Florida State that cheers. Boy, that reminds us just a few years ago. Notre Dame, Colorado down to the final minute. And the Rocket, Ismail, with that brilliant punt return, and Notre Dame thought they had won the game, but a blocking penalty.
Pushing it back, above the waist, 10-yard penalty. Nebraska's ball, 1st and 10.
So instead of a 7-0 lead, it's Nebraska starting back at the 23-yard line.
And Dick, in college, we know what happens on the penalty. We don't know who does it. But a brilliant return.
Well, if nothing else, Tom Osborne's team has shown that they're ready to play defense and that they can create some hazards on special teams.
See if we can pick anything up. I don't see anything there because the flag was all the way back at the 25-yard line there.
Frazier hit before he can deliver the snap. He was trying to toss, and Todrick McIntosh, 94, was there before Frazier could really get away from center.
Dick, one of the things that has to work on this option is that you've got to protect the area on both sides of the center. McIntosh is untouched. I have a feeling one of the offensive linemen didn't get the right play call.
They allow progress to the 19-yard line. McIntosh, senior from Richardson, Texas. He was a nose guard a year ago, and that's where he was playing on that particular call.
But to this point, this has hardly been national championship caliber performance by either team. Nerves.
Final seconds of the opening quarter. Quarterback draw, and Frazier saw something he liked and charges across the 30 to the 32-yard line. He'll be short a yard and a half of a first down. Roberson makes the stop. OJ?
Okay. After the punt return on the Florida sideline, Sean Jackson started running back. He pulled the offense together and started saying, guys, this is for the national championship. He was sort of out of control, yelling at him, and as Bobby Bowden walked by, he yelled at Coach Bowden, saying, Coach, I want the ball. I want the ball.
Well, don't they all in the huddle? They say that Charlie Ward's real good about listening to his receivers. He tries to spread it around. And that will be the end of the opening quarter. And if you're a Nebraska fan, the score won't be disappointing for Florida State, averaging 43 a game.
That's the end of the first quarter. With the score, Nebraska nothing, Florida State.
Welcome back to the Federal Express Orange Bowl. A 71-yard punt return for a touchdown nullified. Let's see if we can pick up the penalty, Bob.
It's either here or as it comes down here, a man is hit, but I can't really tell if it's from behind. I don't think there's a penalty there. I really don't. Number 8, it looked like he was Tyrone Williams was the closest man, but the flag was thrown very, very early, nullifying a tremendous punt return.
We open the second quarter, no score. Nebraska with the ball, 3rd down and 2 across their own 31-yard line. Tommy Frazier, the sophomore. Play action, and he's got a man wide open. Abdul Muhammad, a first down at the 45. 14 yards to Muhammad, his favorite receiver, caught 25 this year.
This is a great play action fake. Watch this. See Alexander firing there, 36. Excellent throw by Tommy Frazier. When he sets up and can throw, he throws very well. Muhammad only had 25, 26, 27 receptions for the entire season, so they don't throw very much on first down.
Recruit from Southern California, Compton. Call him the Little Rocket from Los Angeles. First down, the toss to Jones.
Throw.
Yes, he is throwing long for Muhammad. And it's broken up on a big hit by Richard Coase, number 16.
Dick, we saw that in practice, didn't we? Well, it works. The pitch. And you can see Muhammad is open, but a great hit. I mean, if he doesn't make the hit, that is a reception.
That's the speed of that secondary. Just a half step slower then. Muhammad has a chance to pull it in.
No question.
But Coase, the senior from Miami, rattles it free.
And he went through Abdul Muhammad to make that tackle.
2nd and 10 from the Husker 45. Their deepest penetration of this first half, and Frazier is going to spend a timeout. So we're just seconds gone in the second period. Nebraska with the ball. The national title on the line. It scores.
The Federal Express Orange Bowl is brought to you by Federal Express. For documents, packages, and freight worldwide, our most important package is yours. By Mazda. Mazda, it just feels right. By Pizza Hut, who reminds you that anytime's a great time to stop and smell the pizza. And by Northwest Airlines. Some people just know how to fly.
And welcome back to this marvelous weekend. What a way to start the new year. And for these two coaches, good friends. In fact, Bobby Bowden told us he doesn't like to be with the coaching fraternity. He likes to be with his family when the season's over. But Tom Osborne was one of 2 or 3 that he named as a close friend. In fact, he'll go up to Lincoln for a big banquet in February, saluting Tom Osborne. 2nd and 10. Frazier and the Huskers have thrown 45. Calvin Jones. Well done by the Florida State defense. It was McIntosh and Roberson, 47.
Nick, again, that defensive tackle getting all the way out there to not only assist on the tackle to the pitch man, but he is out there just as the guy tries to turn upfield.
No gain, 3rd and 10. Well, it's a speed versus size. The 40-pound difference in that offensive and defensive lines are made up by the Noles with their great quickness. 5 defensive backs. Frazier shotgun. Frazier completed less than 50% of his passes and tries to run. Caught from behind by Derek Alexander. What a half this sophomore has had for Florida State.
Well, he fired himself up during the week by commenting about just how weak he thought the offensive line was. But again, this is all pursuit. I mean, Alexander, the compliment paid to him by the coaching staff of Florida State, never takes any part of a play off.
Yep. Persistence. All ACC performer as a sophomore. So Sawyer back as Bennett punts once again, this time with the wind. And it makes a difference. A huge spiral that Sawyer's going to let bounce. And Nebraska did not cover behind the punt returner, so Florida State will get the 20 yards on the touchback. 56-yard punt, 36 net. Tonight, following your late local news, Danny DeVito hosts Saturday Night Live. Musical guest Bon Jovi in one of the best shows of the past year. Hope you'll stay with us here on NBC. And I guess Mike Ditka also has a role tonight.
Wearing his ties or his sweaters that he's made?
Peripatetic Mike Ditka. Or is it ubiquitous? One of those.
It's both, I think.
Now here come the Noles from their 20.
Again, the I formation and Charlie Ward underneath center.
There's Knox to the right, Fryer to the left. They're not giving it to Floyd, the fullback, yet. They go to Sean Jackson, and a yard is all they can muster. Trev Alberts knifing through. Toby Wright up from the safety.
Now Alberts is a defensive end in this defense. Here he is up playing inside linebacker. And look, if you don't block him, I guarantee you he'll make the tackle. There is no question. I have no idea what Florida State's doing here, but Nebraska is winning this part of the game. My feeling is that Florida State's getting a little too fancy here, going away from what they normally do to get the ball down the field.
Fryer right, Knox left. Good protection. Ward up on top. And what a catch by Knox at the Nebraska 49.
And then they do that.
30 yards. The senior from Niceville, Florida, who caught 42 this year, led the team in touchdown receptions with 7.
There's no way this ball should be completed, and Charlie Ward puts it the only spot that Knox can catch it.
Tyrone Williams on the coverage. Good coverage, throwing into the wind. Perfect.
Yeah. there are so many weapons and so many things this Florida State offense does. They don't care if it's 3rd and 15, 20, 25, 30. We got the horses to get it done.
Johnny Johnson, the tight end, 85, and on the right side, Ward to the sidelines, and Vanover will be quite deep in bounds, but still gets almost the first down at the 41 of the Huskers.
The Red Baron Miles was in coverage, and this is where the Nebraska defense has tried to get a little faster, but Ward has such a quick release.
Miles celebrating his 22nd birthday today, along with Senator Barry Goldwater's 85. He would have loved the defense of those Arizona Wildcats in his home state. The whole family here to cheer for Miles, who is from Roselle, New Jersey.
Blitz.
That is Sean Jackson, hit by Christian Peter, a sophomore from Locust, New Jersey. 55. It's a first down.
I think that's Jackson's first carry of the night. Excuse me, second carry of the night. He was their leading rusher, 6.2 yards per carry. Now you got to get all these guys their fair shots in this offense.
First down, Nebraska nothing, and averaging 5, Florida State. He ran behind Jesus Hernandez, number 77, for that first down, and Hernandez is a great story that we'll share with you. No score, 11:39 left in the opening half. There's Floyd, the fullback, and he rumbles and knocking off helmets down to the 33-yard line. There's Floyd. Some feel he may go to the NFL as a junior.
Again, great blocking here. This offensive line, wow, not as big as Nebraska's. Excellent job. You talked about Hernandez. Look at that seal block he did there. Allowed Floyd to get right up there. And again, another helmet rolls off a Nebraska player.
Goes number one. Goes number one.
Hernandez throwing that block. He's from Miami. Was not recruited by the Hurricanes. A walk-on up at Tallahassee at Florida State.
And that's only a small part of his story.
You bet. 2nd and 6. Ward under center. Gives to Jackson. Oh, my. What a defensive shot by Toby Wright, flying up from the secondary, the rover for Nebraska.
This is one of the things that they wanted to incorporate into their defense. You're going to see Alberts is 34. Excellent blocking, but you can't account for the safety. And Wright is right there to make the tackle in the backfield.
He was tied for 2nd on the season in tackles, forced 3 fumbles. You can see why with hits like that, and had 3 interceptions, 2 went for touchdowns. So 3rd down and 6 for Ward and the Noles out of the shotgun.
Expecting blitz.
The pump, now the throw. Oh, that'll be interference on John Reese. Kez McCorvey, and Reese had no alternatives.
Nothing seems to upset this Florida State football team as poorly as they play. The next down that they have.
Well, that reflects their quarterback.
Sure, absolutely.
He's so unflappable.
I mean, Nebraska's got him dead to rights. He's got people hanging all over him. And then that's an obvious call. No question about that whatsoever. I mean, Reese does the only thing he can. I mean, if Ward has a chance to set up, McCorvey catches that ball deep and it's 6 points.
Well, because Ward on that scramble is such a threat to run.
On the defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That those defenders, they have to try to cover a man, and then when Ward gets into that mode, they have to respect the fact he might be running as well.
And Dickey is so quick out of the pocket, Charlie Ward is. He can just freeze defensive linemen, then roll out of the pocket and be ready to throw it in a hurry.
Think he could play quarterback in the NFL with that arm?
I personally do, but you'd have to find an offense where he's in the shotgun more than anything else, because that's where he functions best. The run and shoot, if you want to employ the run and shoot, I think he could play. I think he'd be foolish to play, but I think he could play.
He's foolish because he can make it in the NBA as a point guard.
Yeah, and they make a lot in the NBA.
Second time inside the Nebraska 20 for Florida State. First down at the 19. Lots of time. Then to the sidelines. And Matt Fryer hit by Tyrone Williams. Now, there was an example of what Charlie Ward told us about the transfer of basketball learning to football. The look-off in basketball is that point guard looking one way, passing the other. He looked off the defense all the way.
The receiver he's going to is over to the left. He's taking the entire field in. You're right, Dick. Great mechanics, too, throwing the football over that front foot. You're absolutely right. It is related to the basketball skills of a point guard.
4 yards on the pass. Power in there with Floyd, the fullback, and the freshman Ward Dunn at tailback. Tight end Johnson on the right side. And here's young Dunn. He's lightning quick. He gets to the 12-yard line, 3 yards shy of a first down, and Toby Wright makes the stop.
Toby Wright made the stop from behind, too. Whenever Florida State has gone to the I formation, you see Toby Wright cheat to the line of scrimmage, and he's caught several plays from behind, that being the latest. So far, this I formation for Florida State has not done anything for them.
3rd down and 3.
That is the defensive coordinator for Nebraska. You just saw there, Charlie McBride. Got to be proud of his defense. They've done a pretty good job here in this first quarter and a half.
8.5 minutes before the intermission. Still no score. Big 3rd and 3. Here come the Huskers. All-out blitz. The throw incomplete to Fryer. And Ed Stewart was the man driving through to knock Charlie Ward, and the flag is down. May have been too much time by Florida State. Did they get the play off?
There is no play. There is no play. There's a delay of game before the snap.
So that's a break for Florida State.
Absolutely.
The pass was incomplete.
You see that ticks down to 0. Yes. Ball is not snapped. That you're right. That is a great advantage for Florida State. The ball incomplete to Matt Fryer. Charlie Ward gets another chance.
3rd down and 8. That's nothing for this offense.
Sometimes when this offense functions and functions well, Dick, it looks like the defense has 9 guys out there to try to stop it. It's remarkable. Tonight has not been one of those nights, though. This Nebraska defense counted itself well.
Bob Trump, you talked about the changes made by Dr. Tom Osborne. One of those since a year ago was speed on defense.
Yes.
We've really seen that.
Absolutely.
They're really flying at Ward.
They're catching runners from behind. That's not something that the Nebraska defense could do in previous seasons.
2 wide receivers.
And showing blitz. Nebraska again.
And Ward, they pick up the blitz, and Ward to the end zone, no one there. It was McCorvey being checked on the far side by Toby Wright. So just as Derek Alexander's been big on defense for Florida State, Toby Wright has answered for Nebraska.
I think it's Ben Roots who has the coverage here on Kes McCorvey. I know it's come from the inside. Kes McCorvey is in the slot. Here's McCorvey right here. They run the out and up, and it's Toby Wright who has had an awful good half for Nebraska's defense. You see, 8 Williams was the guy that took the inside route.
All right, here's Bentley. He is missed from 47 yards to the left. Danny Cannell, the backup quarterback, to hold. It's a 34-yard attempt into the wind, and it is good. Florida State on the board first at the midpoint of the second quarter. The battle for number 1. Florida State 3, Nebraska nothing. So much tradition and history. The 3rd time that number 1 has played number 2 in the 60 Orange Bowls, and this 1994 Federal Express Orange Bowl version featuring a surprisingly low scoring game, 3-0, a touchdown return on a punt by Nebraska called back by penalty. Florida State has just scored on a 34-yard field goal. Damon Benning, and the man who returned that kick for a touchdown, Corey Dixon, number 2, are back, as Bentley will be kicking into a breeze. Seems to have died since the start of the game. Returnable Dixon at the 9. As an avenue. And out across the 35-yard line before he can be stopped by Ken Alexander and Matt Fryer.
Tackled by Alexander.
Injured was Abdul Muhammad. And they're still attending to him, and as we understand it, he has not returned since he was hit on that halfback pass. And remember, Muhammad downfield and Jones pass, and Richard Coase delivering that big hit high up on the rib cage, and they're attending to Muhammad. Now Nebraska trailing 3-0 with 7:48 left in the half. Schlesinger and Calvin Jones behind Frazier. Jones. Big guy has speed to get around the corner, and he has a flag down and maybe a late hit at the 43-44 yard line. There's the yellow flag under Jones.
Chased by Devin Bush, number 11, all the way to the sideline. Not sure who the flag is going to be on. Face mask.
If you look at the other scores, a lot of surprising results, lopsided results today.
Jones coming. And where is that? Oh, yeah, that's certainly accidental, and I don't believe he pulled him on down.
5-yard penalty, the first down at the 47 in Nebraska.
Incidental face mask on the defense, 5-yard penalty, gives Nebraska a first down.
Dick, you're talking about the scores being surprising. I think this is the biggest shock of all these bowl games. This 3-0 with 7:41 to go in the first half.
You saw the Sugar Bowl, West Virginia unbeaten, tied with Florida at 7 in the first half. Frazier handing off inside, a rare attempt by the fullback Jeff McAvica, sophomore from Brainerd, Nebraska, where he played 8-man football, taking the handoff from Tommy Frazier. There's McAvica, who rushed for 165 yards this year.
Now they bring in the big guys now. Look like Schlesinger comes back in. And also Johnson comes back in.
There's Abdul Muhammad, the leading receiver for Nebraska this year in catches. Perhaps going in for x-rays. Clustered Johnson in motion, and Frazier in trouble. Able to elude the rush and throw the ball to Dixon. Incomplete.
He was out of bounds when he threw it. And he threw it to a receiver out of bounds.
That's right. So it's going to be a big loss for Nebraska.
Yep.
It's John Nance. That's right. He had the right foot out of bounds when he threw the ball. A 9-yard loss as Nance, the 262-pound nose guard, out there forcing Frazier to the sideline.
Yeah, Dick, we've had a recurring theme here tonight for Florida State's defense. McIntosh has been out there. Nance has been out there on the sideline chasing not only Tommy Frazier but also the running back. There's that speed of the Florida State front four all over the field.
Third down, 17. Ball to the left, Johnson in the slot. The throw is to Johnson, has some running room. 50, 45, a first down, and much more to the Florida State 35-yard line. Lester Johnson, who caught only 8 all season, gets 25 on that one.
It looked like Tommy Frazier got hurt in his shoulder. He's trying to throw it out, but Florida State came with a blitz. There was man-to-man coverage, and that's why Johnson was open. But here's the blitzer right here. Watch the shot.
Mac Knight
gets on him. He had his arm folded in front of him and the helmet right on the armor's shoulder, but he gets up and you can tell his arm is kind of dead there.
And there's another player down at the 33-yard line, Richard Coase of Florida State, their safety. There has been no question that both sides of the line of scrimmage, these players playing flying football.
Absolutely. These guys at this age, these guys are nuclear powered, Dick. They can deliver hits and also absorb hits. Again, a big play by Tommy Frazier. He sees the blitz come and takes the hit. And this is an excellent run. Johnson, not a huge receiver for Nebraska, but running back skills shows well there.
And he was a state 300-meter hurdles champion and 110 hurdles champ. Coase is okay.
Looked like Frazier's okay too, Dick. He went back to the huddle, kind of. You can see what happened. Whoa, that's a chin shot.
Blindsided by Tremaine Bell, the backup tight end.
Oh, and then Tremaine Bell rubs it in too. Oh, that makes it hurt more. I've been down there like that. That really makes it hurt more.
Nebraska's deepest drive to the Florida State 35, trailing 3-0. Calvin Jones. Oh, just one Florida State tackler after another, just slowing Jones down step by step. O.J.?
Well, it's amazing that Calvin Jones is on the field and talking to the team doctor. They say he has a mild sprain of his AC joint, which is technically a shoulder separation. But he said he wanted to go, and he went out and ran one play, but I see he's coming off the field. I'll see if I can find out any further news. Nick?
All right, O.J., a yard gain on that play, 2nd and 9.
That hurts a whole lot.
Damon Benning, a sophomore from Omaha, who played for Jones when he was injured earlier in this year. Frazier guns it into a crowd. It goes on the deflection to Reggie Ball. Touchdown, Nebraska. Reggie Ball, a sophomore from Bellevue, Nebraska, did not catch a touchdown all season long, and on the carom, Ball in the right place to give the underdog Huskers the lead.
Dick, it looked like it was intended for Johnson. Number 33, Lester Johnson, who just caught the pass on the play before.
6-3 Nebraska as Byron Bennett, the punter and place kicker, tries for the extra point. And drives it through. 64 yards in 6th place for the Huskers. It took them less than 2 minutes. 34 yards on the touchdown to a man who didn't catch a pass in any of the last 5 games of the year.
Well, here's the intended receiver, runs this route. Here's the receiver who runs this route. And sometimes you need luck to win a game like this. Watch, off those hands into my hands. Yeah, I'll take 6 no matter how you give it to me. Nebraska leads in the Orange Bowl.
Tommy Frazier, who threw for 12 touchdowns during the year, perhaps none quite like this one. As Reggie Ball in the right place to give the Huskers a 7-3 lead.
So what's the big deal? We put that play in when we were down here.
Frazier been knocked around, but he knows that was a good one for the Huskers. Unbeaten, untied Nebraska, yet a 17-point underdog. As a punt return called back, touchdown of 71 yards, but scores on a deflected pass. Reggie Ball, 34-yard play, and leading Florida State 7-3. Bobby Bowden's Seminoles average per half this year 21.5 points. They've got 3 tonight in the first half. Under 6 minutes to go. There it is. Yards. Nebraska's done a good job defensively. It's right. Surprising.
You have to give them credit.
Surprising in that no one really stopped Florida State, not even Notre Dame. Defeat of the Noles. This is Vanover, very dangerous. And he's out across the 30 to the 35 and pushed out to the 38-yard line. Tomrick Vanover. The last time Nebraska led in a bowl game, they know they've lost 6 in a row, was in the Fiesta Bowl 4 years ago. When on that field goal, they led to Florida State but did not win. 10-7 in the second quarter. The last time they were ahead until tonight, they went on to lose 41-17 to the Noles. Lead 7-3 tonight. Tommy Frazier appears to be okay.
He's got 50 or 60 family members down here watching the game. They like that pass.
Under center is Charlie Ward. Play action and hit from behind by Alberts. The second sack, and to Ward's credit, no fumble. Boy, does he shoot into that backfield.
Great quickness, and normally he is an outside pass rusher, Dick, but watch this move. He puts on Lariano inside. Lariano even grabs his jersey, and he can't stop him. Told us his favorite professional football team. Said, I like the Chicago Bears. I like the way they play.
Says his brother lives up in Chicago. Wouldn't mind playing for the Bears. The defensive player of the year in the Big 8 and the linebacker of the year in the nation, the Butkus Award winner. Has 2 sacks for a -19. Second and long for Ward, and action before the snap. Here to be Marvin Farrell pulling back before the snap.
Dead ball foul. Ball start. on the offense.
Well, all of the blitzing and bringing the secondary and linebackers, and the line a little confused.
Yeah, I don't blame Farrell for breaking out of his stance here. You want to try to get a head start on Trev Alberts. He's gotten that ability, acquired that ability to get around the corner on those offensive tackles. And he talked to us. He said, "Look, I'm not big, but pass rushing is angles. And our defensive coaches teach us angles, and I can get to any quarterback. I don't care how big the offensive tackle is."
He's 6'4", says he weighs 235 now. There's an all-state basketball player as well in Iowa. Draw play to Sean Jackson, and look at that flying of Lorenzo Brinkley. He's a 195-pound safety man playing in a linebacker position.
Well, Dick, after last year's Orange Bowl, Tom Osborne realized that his defense didn't have the speed to compete at this level. Called Bobby Bowden. Bobby Bowden sent 2 defensive assistants to Lincoln, Nebraska. Said, "Gentlemen, how do we change our defense so that it can function at your level?"
Not knowing that this would be the outcome he'd be playing.
They had no idea they'd be playing in this game. Now, obviously, those assistant coaches taught this defense well, and the coaches from Nebraska taught the players well, because Nebraska executing this defense beautifully.
3rd down and 26 for Ward, looking for a big gainer, and he is behind his receiver. What a great job of eluding. It looked as if they were going to sack him, and he has eyes in back of his head. Kevin Knox was along the sidelines, but Florida State trailing, gives up the ball now as the punting team comes on.
And Dick, to put this in perspective now, Florida State through the season averaged 548 yards a game and 43 points. This team scored 63 offensive touchdowns. To this point, a field goal.
71 total yards this far in this game. Not a very good kick by Sean Liss. Dixon lets it bounce, and it bounces back toward Florida State's goal and down near the 45-yard line. So Nebraska has the lead 7-3, and the ball at the Florida State 45. Welcome back to South Florida from high above the Orange Bowl. The overhead shots are from the Goodyear blimp Stars and Stripes. 192-foot blimp based in Pompano Beach, Florida. Florida side looking down into this jewel of a stadium. Tommy Frazier and Nebraska after the short punt, starting at the Florida State 45.
Florida State showing blitz.
Calvin Jones behind Frazier. He keeps it himself for about 3. Todd Rebold, middle linebacker. Richard Coase in on the stop. Quarterbacks tonight. Frazier throwing half as much, but getting long results. In part, half of that, more than that, 34 yards on the deflected pass for a touchdown.
Yeah, Dick, those numbers for Tommy Frazier more like a lot of games that he played. The numbers for Charlie Ward, nothing like most of the games he's played.
2nd and 7. 200-pound sophomore Frazier.
Reverse
to Dixon. Well read by Florida State. Dixon did a good job of getting around the corner, but he got there because there was a hold on Gerald Armstrong, the tight end.
Roberson on the tackle. There's the flag down.
Well, one thing for sure, Nebraska has stayed unpredictable offensively in this first half.
Dixon fighting just to get back to the line of scrimmage. And Florida State stayed at home and played it very well. Draw the penalty.
Nebraska has won a lot of little battles here in this first half. Great field position. They've gotten the only bad break.
Holding, offense, 10-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Richard Sawwell is the referee tonight.
Yeah, the only bad break they've had is the penalty on the punt return by Dixon. But the field position normally for a team that runs this well is exactly what they're looking for to be successful.
So John Safi, the referee, with Carl Crawley, Donald Gilman, the trainer George Cullen, Roger Paramore, and James Anderson, the crew. And a 2nd and long for Frazier. Think somebody would be open, wouldn't you? And Frazier can't find him. Red shirts flying like ants, red ants all over that green carpet.
When you say ants, they call the Nebraska receivers the itty-bitty committee. None of them are very big, especially the guys on the outside. Frazier that time trying to get it out to Cluster Johnson.
Again, Abdul Muhammad, the leading receiver on the season for Nebraska, has been taken to the locker room with an injury. Richie Ball, the touchdown maker, to the sidelines. 3rd and 17. 7-3 Nebraska, 2:49 left in the half. Play action by Frazier. Has Dixon. Is he inbounds? No. And his dive, he couldn't get his feet down. Caught the ball, but landed out of bounds on his shoulder. Didn't get 1 foot down.
This is an excellent throw by Tommy Frazier.
Dixon.
Yeah, well, I think that's an excellent call. Looked like he was airborne when he goes to the NFL, and I think he will. No, his toe was down.
That right toe did appear on that angle to have hit the turf, but they don't give it to him.
After further review, it's still an incomplete pass.
So on to punt comes Byron Bennett. There'll be plenty of time for the Florida State offense. 2:41 left, and they have 2 timeouts. Corey Sawyer led the ACC in interceptions with 6. Calls for the fair catch at the 21. 32 yards on the punt for Bennett. Well, one of the delights of coming to Miami every January 1st is the spectacular halftime show. Red Hot and Orange, the title this year. And I know you're going to enjoy it. Volcanoes and fire engines, they got the whole works. Hannah will have all the scores and highlights from New York with Mike Ditka's comments and analysis. Nell Carter will be the star of the halftime extravaganza, so stay with us.
I'd say this is a very important series for Florida State.
Their chance to go into the locker room with the lead. Warwick Dunn in the backfield with Ward. Ward to the far sidelines, wide open. Kez McCorvey. Toby Wright on the coverage, well thrown, and McCorvey just seems to be open consistently. No wonder he caught 74. Ron Sellers back in 1968 caught 86. Only Sellers with more than McCorvey.
Dick from the right hash, this out, deep out by Charlie Ward. Well thrown, gets a little wobbly. McCorvey keeps his feet down and makes the reception. Nice 22-yard pickup. There is so much electricity in this offense. They can sputter and sputter and sputter and look awful, and bam, down the field they go in a flash.
The screen to Dunn. Knocked down by the Nebraska defense. Bruce Moore. He's got the size, 6'6", to defend down in the hole.
Moore is another big pass rusher. Tall like Trev Alberts. He's down here. And they set up the screen nicely. Good job by the offensive lineman to try to cut him. All you're trying to do is cut the defender's hands down so that he can't get his hands up there to get in the way of the quarterback. Nice play, Moore.
One of the many walk-ons on this Nebraska team. 2:23 left in the half. Ward gets away. 50. 40. Out of bounds at the 35.
That's what he does best.
23 big yards for Florida State.
He is originally flushed by Alberts. Watch from the right. 34. He stares him right in the eye. Fakes outside. Comes inside. Those basketball instincts that Pete Newell was talking about. And then Charlie Ward with excellent speed. He's a baseball player, center fielder, shortstop, point guard. Runs right by his head coach, Bobby Bowden. And look, just like that. They just stumble around here for a while, and then, bam, 2 big plays.
In case you doubted, not just a passer, this is an athlete who likes the Roger Staubach, Steve Young. Same effort. And just by a heel, Terry Keneally able to get Ward to the turf after a gain of about 4.
Again, though, excellent coverage down the field by Nebraska. I think that's what Tom Osborne and his staff is looking for. And you see, one of the things that the defensive coaches from Nebraska, Charlie McBride, said, I want my rushers to stay in their lanes.
Ward to the sidelines and wide open. is Vanover. Tomerick Vanover, the sophomore from Tallahassee, and a flag is down. And it's going to be for roughing Ward, and that's going to move Florida State inside the 10. 14 on the pass, and then roughing the passer against Nebraska.
That's Raymaker, 67. Looked a little iffy. Not really a hard hit, just a little shove.
He pulled up, but gave him a little. He didn't have to shove him, I guess.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer on a completed pass. Penalty is enforced from the end of the run, half the distance to the goal line.
Yeah, Dick, the one thing I can say in college, like in the pros, they have that step-and-a-half rule. If you take more than one after the ball's gone, then the penalty is going to be thrown.
That makes it first and goal from the 8 for Florida State. With 1:38 left in the half. 7-3, the Huskers' lead is threatened. Ward, through the hands of McCorvey. Kez McCorvey open in the end zone, had to turn, make a quick shot at the ball.
Brinkley was the man in coverage. And Brinkley slips just a little bit. Number 5 for Nebraska, or excuse me, it's number 6. I've got the wrong guy. That's John Reese. But it's very difficult as a receiver, Dick, if you can't see the ball leave the quarterback's hand to make the reception. And that was about 3/4 of the way there.
Gun in motion. They throw underneath. Vanover and pick up only 3 to the 5-yard line. 3rd and goal.
Jen Reese, one of the things about this offense is you're going to have a lot of single coverage because they have so many spread formations that Florida State uses. Nebraska has covered these guys beautifully in the first half.
Florida State will use their second timeout. Stops the clock with 1:05. Bobby Bowden wants to be sure this play call. This is 7 points versus a try for 3.
It's been a year or two since this team struggled offensively like this. Now Florida State's normally had their way with any defense anytime they take the field. And again, his worry about, we think we're the better team, now we have to play to our level, and they've not in this first half.
Meanwhile, Nebraska huddles on the far sidelines as they set up their defensive strategy.
In there is Bobby Bowden trying to encourage. He had all 15 of his grandkids down here this week.
All 6 of his own children, including a pretty good pop out of the old man, huh? Terry Bowden at Auburn, 11-0 in his first year with the War Eagles.
As a matter of fact, Bobby was very upset that Terry won the Coach of the Year honor because it was the Houston Athletic Club, and it was called the Bear Bryant Award. That's Terry right there. And
Papa grew up idolizing Bear Bryant as a young kid in Birmingham. He said, doggone, he took that Bear Bryant award right away.
Stole it right away from him.
And now he's trying to steal the lead. 3rd and goal from the 5.
I'm not so sure this isn't 4-down area, Dick. I don't think if I'm Bobby Bowden, I settle for 3 points here. I'll give 2 shots at it for the end zone.
William Floyd and Warwick Dunn behind, now joined by Ward. Looking for Dunn on this side. Gets away again. To the sidelines, and that could almost have been grounding, intentionally grounding the ball, but he threw it into a Nebraska player, so no way of knowing if there was any receiver in the area. So incomplete. Good defense by Reese and company.
Again, nobody for Charlie Ward to throw it to.
That will be recorded as a sack as Scott Bentley comes in for his 3rd field goal attempt tonight. He missed from 47, made from 34.
This surprises me.
Ball is at the 8-yard line. They rule that he was down before he threw the ball. So this will be a 24-yard attempt. Cannell, the 2nd-string quarterback, the holder, if it should be a fake, but it's Bentley driving it through to make it a 1-point game.
2 field goals by Florida State in this first half.
Officially 25 yards. Nebraska leads 7-6 with 22 seconds remaining. And if you're just joining us, Nebraska had a 71-yard punt return for a touchdown, nullified by a penalty that was difficult for us to find.
Dick, Nebraska has played up to the game. Unfortunately, Florida State has played down. This is nowhere close to the way Florida State has played throughout this season.
This is the roughing penalty against Charlie Ward as Kevin Raymakers comes in late. Doesn't hit him viciously, but a penalty nevertheless. And Raymakers hears from his coach when he comes to the sideline, Coach McBride.
He knows better. But again, you can't take away the aggressiveness of defensive players. It's very tough. You want to try to get a lick on Charlie Ward if you can without it being too much damage, and he really was pretty light on that hit.
Moon over Miami. Raymakers, by the way, is from Norfolk, Nebraska. And if that community sounds familiar, that's Johnny Carson's hometown. And Carson, of course, perhaps one of the, if not the most famous graduate of the University of Nebraska, and is given generously to the university. And the Kennedy honors the other night, one of the highlights of his holiday season. A floater hit by Bentley. And taken by Damon Benning. And look at him move. Oh, what a return to the 47 as this young man from Omaha weaves his way nearly midfield. So just seconds remaining, 15 seconds.
You know, we make a lot of fun of kickers, but in this particular case, the kicker for Florida State ended up being the last guy in line to make some contact and make the tackle. And in fact, he does help out. I mean, it's not a shoulder tackle. It's nothing you're going to put on tape, but he does get him to the ground.
Frazier has time for a couple of plays, some passes, try to stop the clock, maybe a field goal attempt. Drills this one. Is it complete? No. Dixon again has been flirting with a catch along the sidelines. Denied again.
He can't buy a break tonight. When he returns the punt, there's a penalty. It's called back. He had another reception, ball out of bounds. This one can't keep his feet down. Again, it looks like a good call. This kid can't buy a break. He's working his buns off, and he's not getting anything for it.
7 seconds for Nebraska before halftime, and we'll have that terrific halftime extravaganza. Our director John Gonzalez ready to call all the shots. John Ferratis, our producer tonight from the Federal Express Orange Bowl. Frazier, last play now of this half. Throws across field where it is intercepted. Clifton Abraham, who had one interception on the year, picks it off, and so ends this first half. The score surprising. Nebraska, the Big Red, the underdogs, unbeaten, lead Florida State 7-6.
Florida State 6. Ladies and gentlemen.
Let's go to O.J. Simpson.
Coach, are you surprised at all by your defense's ability to keep Florida out of the end zone?
No, we've got a real good defense. We thought we could play well, and we played awfully hard, and I'm proud of our players.
In the second half, you might have to go without 2 of your stars, Mohammed and Calvin Jones. Will that change your game plan at all?
Well, it sure doesn't help us. You want to come back out and play? We could use you, okay?
I'm not going out there and play, Dick.
That's tough. All right.
Tom Osborne, some have said no sense of humor, that he's bland and all, but he's delighted everyone down here in Miami with his sense of humor this week. Well, O.J. won't be in uniform, but ready to go in New York is Hannah Storm. The lowest point total for Florida State in the half all season long. Second time they've been behind. They were down 21-7 in Notre Dame in a game that they lost. Nebraska holds them to 6. And some would say, hey, it could be 14-6.
But look, we've got to go with Nebraska here. They have executed perfectly. They have taken Florida State, as Mike said, out of a lot of what they like to do. Florida State, I know they have an awful lot of weapons. They have a lot of different gears. Bobby Bowden's got to get them fired up. That's pretty obvious.
Well, it's come down to a 30-minute game. Let's find out what Bowden said to him at halftime. O.J.?
Coach, you can't be happy with the way your offense performed in the first half. What went wrong, and what did you say to them at halftime?
We just didn't have hadn't got any continuity offensively, and it's a case of trying to get in the I formation, getting some running game going, and we can't protect Charlie from the I. I think we're going to have to get in the darn shotgun and just go after it. For some reason, we're getting sacked out of the I, and he scrambles better out of the gun.
You say you're going to put him in the gun. We seem to see him under center more this half than we have in the past.
And we're getting hurt. We thought maybe we could mix the run and the pass from the I, but they're killing us, and we're going to have to go back to our old stuff. We have to go back to more shotgun, it looks like.
Well, good luck in the second half, Coach. Dick, up to you.
All right, O.J., and so it'll be that fast break offense. And meanwhile, Nebraska without Calvin Jones and Abdul Muhammad, two of their top offensive stars, Charlie Ward. They're not really happy, and maybe it was more than just the flu this week when he didn't throw at practice that we visited on Thursday. He acted like something's bothering him.
Yeah, Dick, there was some mention that his elbow may have been bothering him throughout the week, but he threw the ball well enough in the first half. I don't think that's the problem. It's just great coverage by Nebraska. Now, can they keep it up?
Remember, Florida State won the toss and deferred, so Philip Riley and Tomerick Vanover are deep for Florida State, and Vanover's the man that is ultra dangerous. Kicking off is Tom Sealer. Very high and short, and it's to Riley, the sophomore from Orlando. Gets outside. Williams by the shirt tail. Finally wrestles him out of bounds at about the 33-yard line. Let's look at the first half statistics. Neither team able to run the ball. 20 yards rushing for Florida State, 47 for the Huskers.
And Dick, the most key part of this figure, the rushing yards, their running backs, 8 rushes, 6 yards.
The other 14 on Ward scrambles. Of course, you take away the sack losses. That figures in that rushing total. So, Dr. Tom, his team has played an excellent half as a big underdog. Can Nebraska pull off a Cinderella victory here on January 1st? And into the gun they go.
Absolutely.
Ward throwing, and Tyrone Williams over the back. No flag as he knocks it away from Kevin Knox.
Well, all week long, in talking to Tom Osborne, we asked where he improved his team the most, and he said in the corner coverage, the speed of the corners. Time and time again, we've seen cornerbacks from Nebraska there to support on the run and just knock the ball away. This is exactly what he wants his defense to do, but it's susceptible in the middle of the field, Dick. They've got to find receivers in the middle of the field.
And second down. There it is, middle of the field, Vanover. That'll be close to a first down at the 44. John Reese made the hit. First down.
You talk about an athlete, this kid. 212 pounds. Has a 41-inch vertical leap. Came to camp this summer at 225. Took him a long time to get back in shape, but this kid's still growing. He's just a sophomore.
Vanover with 4 catches to lead the Noles. Ward through the hands of Knox. Boy, those who question his arm strength, I don't know, they must see something I don't, because that he can fire the ball.
And watch when this goes through Knox's hand, it almost stays completely in spiral. I mean, that's a ricochet. It looks like a bullet going off of his hands, and he's wearing gloves too.
Bobby Bowden, 64. Grew up as a kid near football fields in Birmingham, Alabama. Always thought about the wonder of this game. Said it's life's work coaching it. One of the most highly respected and highly liked men in this game, but without a national title. Trailing 7-6. 2nd and 10.
Oh, what a catch.
Pulled in by Matt Fryer, the 5'11 senior. 11 yards on the play. He is tough as nails.
First of all, they come with a blitz to try to disrupt. Because of this, it's a quick release. That's the amazing part. Now watch this catch. It bounces off of Fryer, and he stays with it and makes the catch.
Aaron Miles all over it.
Third catch for 23 yards. It's a play like that can ignite an offense. The senior, he had the arthroscopic surgery after the season was over. Not sure he's going to be able to play. He's back and fine.
Dental work as well. That's what we call him summer. Ward on top and going long. Caught at the 5-yard line by Kevin Knox. The biggest play of the game, 40 yards.
This is what they call the streak. His speed against Williams' speed, and again, Ward puts it over that outside shoulder. The catchable spot when you have tight coverage.
First and goal from the 5. They give this to William Floyd, and the fullback is near the goal line. They still haven't blown it dead.
No, he's marked. They're not going to give him the touchdown. An official marked him just outside the end zone, Dick.
And after the whistle sounded, then everyone relaxed, and Floyd goes in. It's second and goal from the 1.
And they're going with the quick huddle here on the goal line.
Ward, will he keep it himself? No, Floyd loses the ball, and Nebraska recovers. Was he in? No, they say touchdown. He'd broken the plane. Mike Anderson fell on the ball, but Floyd had broken the plane. Touchdown, Florida State.
Three-back set, good push and shove. Floyd gets up in the air, and Dick, he really didn't need to. But the ball is loose. The score counts. Good shove up front. Floyd didn't have to go up in the air. Very fortunate. Running back comes from here. Watch Toby Wright. It is ruled a touchdown. It is ruled the ball and the ball carrier breaks the plane, but it's loose.
From that angle, very difficult to tell, but the official right on the line said he had broken the plane. Here's another look.
He's going to have it in his right arm. Toby Wright comes in.
From that angle.
I don't know.
So by inches, Florida State takes the lead, and now they go for 2, leading 12-7. Ward. Incomplete. A beautiful defensive play by Toby Wright, who has been all over this Orange Bowl field tonight. So the score remains 12-7 Florida State.
Don't I remember Nebraska running a play very similar to this? For a 2-point conversion several years ago?
10 years ago to the day.
It was knocked away just about the same way against Miami. Howard Schnellenberger cost Tom Osborne his chance at a national championship and that extra point.
Same spot in the field.
Yep.
Turner Gill to Jeff Smith.
Turner Gill is an assistant coach for Nebraska too. He's a quarterback coach, so definitely remembers the look, the sound, and the feel of that missed 2-point conversion.
Kenton Calhoun was the star for Miami. Well, 2 touchdowns in this game, and both somewhat unusual. The deflection for Nebraska as it goes through a battery of hands. A pass from Frazier to Reggie Ball. There's Turner Gill. And then a play on the goal line. Fumble, always a tough play. Was he in? Was he out? Well, in the book, he was in.
He was
very close.
Yes, that's Turner Gill. More number 12 for Nebraska.
Dan Mowry from Tallahassee, who's had his time for notoriety at Florida State. He missed one of those field goals wide right that would have given Florida State perhaps a championship earlier. Corey Dixon at the other end for the Big Red.
Dick, the next bit of business we have to find out is Calvin Jones. Is he going to be able to play for Nebraska? They have to go to a backup. Yeah, he's got his shoulder pads on.
He had told O.J. Simpson that he was in pain, that shoulder injury, but wanted to play the second half. We'll see. High kick that gets away from Benning. Now Benning in trouble. And is smothered just outside the 10. Samuel Cowart. So Tommy Frazier and the Huskers start deep in their own end. Their first possession of the second half.
Well, in the first half, Nebraska had reasonable success, although they really didn't run the ball that well. You see it. Finally, the one touchdown on the tipped reception.
Florida State brings 8 men on the line of scrimmage. And the give is to Damon Benning. So Calvin Jones does not start the second half. Benning, the freshman, 200-pounder, 5'11". He rushed for 324 yards this season, almost 6 yards a try.
If they get, you see Calvin Jones, it's obviously his left shoulder that is bothering him.
Benning, whose father is the assistant superintendent of public schools in the city of Omaha. He was a great high school player, #1 in the state, rushed for over 1,500 yards as a senior. Number 21, Benning. Second down and 5. A reverse to Dixon. Oh, he had blockers out there, but a fine defensive play. A trip made by the Seminoles. Could have been McIntosh getting a hand on him, or Ken Alexander.
It was hard to pick up, but again, the defense from Florida State stayed home. I think they know the reputation that everybody else has about Florida State, that they're small up front and will over-pursue. It's been well coached to stay at home.
Well, remember Notre Dame scored on that reverse at South Bend. Reggie Ball, the touchdown maker, way out to the left. Tremaine Bell, second tight end, shifts to the left. On third and a short 3. Frazier, complete to Bell. And he's out to the 35 and a first down. Bush and Brooks drag him down after 16.
Dick, you mentioned Derek Brooks. We have not called his number many times tonight, have we? He plays the bandit position. He's on the right-hand side, and as Bell releases just on top of the linebackers, underneath the defensive backs, Derek Brooks there to make the assist. What Nebraska's doing is flopping tight ends. So they're running the ball at, trying to run the ball at Derek Brooks. He's been blocked very well.
Dixon split out to the near side. And it's Benning. Up to the 40, almost 5 on the play. James Roberson and Derek Brooks in on the stop.
Let's go back in time a minute here. Here is the touchdown by Florida State. Again, Toby Wright hits him. Arms go up immediately.
The official on this side made the call, and you can see as he fumbles, there is a Nebraska player blocking the view. It pops out and drops not unlike a Rose Bowl play many years ago.
Yeah.
About Michigan and USC, was it? The toss to Benning. And he is collared. Roberson, number 47, denied the corner. And up from the secondary, Devin Bush, and nose guard John Nance was there too.
Again, a great pursuing defense. They had everybody covered out there on the option. Here's Tom Osborne's big call here. I'm surprised to see Tremaine Bell on the sideline. He had a good catch. They could run the same pattern again. Get it to the tight end. You know they're always open. Flopping the tight end again.
3rd and 6. Frazier. Incomplete and no penalty. Bush was all over the back of Reggie Ball. I thought you'd see some yellow on that one.
Tommy Frazier took a real chance here too, Dick. Sophomore quarterback throwing late down the middle. You're going to see the matchup. Bush is right there. This kind of looks like he's playing basketball with him, you know, denying him the pass. But that's taking a chance. Tommy Frazier wants the flag. He doesn't get it. 4th down.
So Bennett to punt. Corey Sawyer back. High wobbly kick. Sawyer with a fair catch at the 26-yard line. 35 yards on the punt with 9:22 left in the 3rd. Florida State leads by 5. Welcome back to the Federal Express Orange Bowl, an all-time record attendance, 81,536 to see the battle for the championship. Florida State leading by 5 with the ball just across their own 26-yard line. They had deferred to get the ball at the start of the second half and took it 67 yards in 7 plays to gain the lead. And now Ward back to work from the shotgun. Reflected and incomplete.
Goodness.
Through the hands of McCorvey, and again a bullet from Ward. Toby Wright on the coverage.
Center fielder, shortstop when he plays baseball. Yeah, he's got the strong arm. No problem with his elbow. I think I noticed too that Florida State's choice here: 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 2 fullbacks to protect against the blitz here by Nebraska to protect Charlie Ward as best they can.
On the run, caught by Vanover. Rick Vanover, not enough for the first down, a gain of around 6.
Just a little half roll to avoid the pressure. Good tight spiral. This kid, this Vanover kid, if Florida State has a quarterback after Charlie Ward leaves, I don't know how many passes and touchdowns this kid's going to score. He is extraordinary.
Yeah, he was considered like the top wide receiver as a high school senior in the country. On third down, and it's Alberts again. Trev Alberts' 3rd sack of the game. And that is just underlining and with a punctuation mark why he was so highly regarded All-America.
He gets around this offensive tackle again. It's Farrell, just pushes him back. We've seen several different pass rush moves. The most interesting thing about Alberts and his family, his mom and dad have never missed a game he's played, with one exception. That's Tokyo.
That's because
they drive to all of them, home and away.
Beating UCLA this year. No flag. What a kick by Liss against the wind. Dixon finally corrals it at the 15. Oh, he had the wall on the right side, but not for that tackle by Chris Cowart. He could have gone all the way. They had the complete red wall set up. What a stop by Cowart.
Very seldom do you ever see a punt return with any plus yardage when you have your back to the spot you're trying to run, and there's that hit you're talking about.
That was a career-long punt for Liss, 63 yards. Tom Osborne. His friends are fishing guides. He does a lot of thinking out there, and he's thought a lot about this year. His Huskers have come from behind often to maintain their unbeaten record.
We've won 7 or 8 games coming from behind, and we've had some very close games in the 4th quarter. Florida State has not been challenged that much. They've won going away, which is a little scary, but by the same token, they just haven't been in those types of games as much. And we've been a very good 4th quarter team.
Says he plays as little golf as he can. He likes to fish, and he's fishing for the big salmon tonight. Trailing 12-7, and feels in the 4th quarter, if they're close, they can come from behind. Frazier just eludes the rush. Throws. What a catch out at the 36-yard line by Trumaine Bell. His second of this second half. Good for 14 yards.
Great scramble by Tommy Frazier. Rolling to his left, still steep. Looking downfield, looking for a chance to throw the ball. Again, Derek Alexander up in his face. Sets himself very well there to make that throw.
First down at the Husker 36-yard line. Schlesinger, the fullback. The tailback, Damon Benning, the freshman playing for the injured Calvin Jones. It's Benning running into a wall. And now the other way, one man to beat, but he can't get away from Clifton Abraham. Abraham, the junior from Dallas.
Nick, again, great penetration by the Florida State defense. It really made Benning. It looked to me like it was Todd Reboll, number 48. See if 48 comes in here. Yeah, he's first one that misses him. Again, that pursuing that one-gap Florida State defense where they turn this defense loose, and very difficult for Nebraska to run the ball. They could certainly use Calvin Jones in this situation. A little bigger than Benning. They could use some power running here.
The long 15 on second down. Frazier under 500 on the night, 6 for 14. 96 yards. Toss to Benning. Has a blocker. Oh, they close in a hurry up in the secondary bush and close the 2 safeties.
picked and kicked shoulder to shoulder. Did you see that?
They tried to plant Bennett.
When the first option is not available, you'll see Tommy Frazier. And Derek Brooks makes him declare. Now watch these two safeties come up shoulder to shoulder. Where are you going to go, son? Nowhere.
In comes Lawrence Phillips, a freshman, a true freshman, an 18-year-old from West Covina, California, where he was a member of the CIF champions as a junior. He is probably as fast as any tailback they have. He's number one. That's to Dixon, a little flanker screen. Breaks some tackles, but not enough for a first down across the 40. Roderick McIntosh drags him down.
Dick, it looked like the original hit was by Mac Knight, made him turn back inside, and that's what you want your cornerback to do. Well, Tom Osborne said we got to be unpredictable in this game. To this point, they have been. They've thrown more screens and run reverses and rollouts than I've seen Nebraska run in a lot of years.
Fourth down, a long 5, so Bennett punts for the 7th time tonight. Corey Sawyer at the 25. Oh, almost blocked. A beautiful spiral. Fair catch called by the backpedaling Sawyer at about the 12, maybe the 11-yard line. They'll spot it. 47-yard punt by Bennett, and a timeout with 5:27 left in the third. This redefines overhead shot. Tonight's overhead shots have been courtesy of the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes. It was in 1960 when Goodyear provided its first bowl coverage right here at the Orange Bowl. And looking down on a sellout crowd of 81,536, Federal Express Orange Bowl record. Florida State with its worst field position. They allowed Sawyer just across the 12-yard line on the fair catch, and Charlie Ward out of the gun. Under pressure, throws long, and well covered. Tyrone Williams had Kevin Knox.
What? You wonder about Charlie Ward's toughness. Florida State sends 2, 4, 6, 7 guys on him here. Watch them all come. There's the 7th. Just slides over slightly and is still trying to catch that man-on-man receiver down there.
William Floyd, the fullback, and he is a load. Look at him breaking tackles down the clear at the 30, and caught from behind by Mike Anderson. So William Floyd gets his crowd stirred. $245-pound junior.
What did he tell us? If you mention finesse around me, you're talking sissy. I am no sissy. He started playing football in the Little Green Devils when he was a kid. He said his mom made him play football, took him to the field, kicked him out of the car and said, go play.
That was at 8 years of age in St. Petersburg. 36 yards on the play. Well, that's the big running play of the game for Ward and Florida State. Now Knox whistled down by Darren Miles. And when you can get a run to mix in with that shotgun attack with a pass and war, then it really is tough on the defense.
Yeah, Floyd also, when he's not carrying the ball out there in the shotgun, he says, I'm Charlie Ward's personal guardian. I'm there to protect him against any and all blitzes. He's been sacked 3 times tonight.
Second down and 4. As you look at Floyd, who's a lot like Marion Butts, doesn't carry much, more of a blocker. Butts out of Florida State to become a star at the San Diego Chargers. Ward guns, and it's Fryer out of bounds at the 32, and a flag down at the spot where the ball was thrown, and another late hit against Nebraska. This time Dante Jones is ticketed. So the gain on the pass into Nebraska territory plus the penalty.
As Dante Jones, it's a late blitz. And that's a helmet right underneath the chin. Pretty obvious throw. There have been some big penalties tonight against Nebraska. That's a pretty obvious one. It really affected Nebraska's chances. You know, the one by Raymaker They've got, you see Tom Osborne, a righteous individual is Tom Osborne. He does not like his players doing that. That reflects badly on Nebraska and Dr. Tom.
And in fact, it's quite a testimony to the demeanor and the demands of Osborne that his players say you are not allowed to use profanity. No cursing on the field, or that's cause for you not to be able to play. Yeah. In today's world, that is unusual. Ward after the penalty. Right into the arms of 86th Wayne Harris, who is second to Alberts this year in sacks with 8. Alberts had 15, so Harris gets 1.
But you got to give an assist to Trev Alberts. Watch from the top side around the left tackle. Trev Alberts, Charlie Ward sees him. He's trying to get away from Trev Alberts, and Harris makes the sack. So the two defensive ends combined. Again, this time it's on Connolly, the big offensive tackle, and again that he has superior strength, and he flushed Charlie just enough that was at the 4th sack of the night.
5th sack for a team that allowed 10 in 12 games. Whoops. Looked as if tackle Connolly, Forrest Connolly, a sophomore from Berlin, Connecticut.
Dead ball. Ball start on the offense. Still be second down.
Trev Alberts will make you do that, Dick. You will be leaning backwards.
He's a true Cornhusker. 300-acre grandparents' farm. He'd go out there after football practice. He'd not only husk the corn, he would detassel it. He said that was the toughest job.
Yeah, he and his brother, older brother, had a company where they detasseled corn.
Yesterday when we talked with him, he was explaining that's early before the corn is ripe. You go out and take off the silk, right?
No, it's the top of the stalk.
The top of the stalk.
It's the top of the ear of corn. It's the top of the entire stalk of corn.
Things you will learn with a couple of farm guys. Ward throws underneath the Fryer, and Fryer tackled at the 23. That gets him back to about the line of scrimmage where this series began. 12 yards on the play, and we'll bring up 3rd down and about 10.
You mentioned his nickname is Summer.
Yeah, after some dental work, and one of the coaches started calling him Summer, and he explained to us because in regard to his teeth, some are here and some are there.
Some are here and some aren't.
That's why he doesn't smile, still wearing some braces. Really an interesting young guy, as are so many of these athletes. Delight to be around.
Blitz.
And Ward throws to the end zone, and no catch. He was out of the field of play. That's McCorvey, and again, the radar instincts of the receivers to Ward's throws. They just seem to be able to get to the right place, don't they?
Yes. You have to expect he's a pretty good three-point shooter, although he doesn't do that much for Florida State as a basketball player.
Dante Jones hoping this isn't good. Boy, that was close. That knee was almost down. He was juggling just a little that denied the catch. So here comes Bentley for his 4th field goal try. This one from 39 yards. And he hits this a ton. Bentley, who had only 2 from over 30 all season, has 2 tonight. And the Seminoles up their lead to 15-7.
But that 15-7 lead, Dick, that's certainly still within reach of Nebraska. Again, Florida State moves the ball down the field, in part courtesy of a big penalty to Nebraska.
And as Bentley boots it through, the fans here learn that West Virginia, unbeaten, playing in the Sugar Bowl, trailing 28-7 to Florida. And Bobby Bowden, who has had a much different expression working the sidelines, watching the flight of a field goal attempt. Tom Osborne applauds his defense. And Dante Jones, that roughing the passer penalty, moving Bentley closer to those uprights, and he hits from 39. Yeah, it's been another great week. Parade last night. Ed McMahon, Johnny Carson's sidekick for so many years, the Grand Marshal. He wouldn't commit as to which team he was rooting for, but being around Carson, I think he better have something read on.
Yeah, if he isn't muttering Nebraska under his breath.
Dan Mowry hits a sidewinder toward Dixon, who has been tough on return. Looking for a hole, but it closes in a hurry at the 15-yard line. It's like somebody had a wire out there and just clotheslined him at the 16-yard line.
Dick, that was a brutal hit.
Jermaine Green, number 42, in on the tackle.
Offsides on the kickers.
So Florida State are going to have to tee it up again if Nebraska chooses.
If we can see who was across that line of scrimmage. Okay, let's say that guy. He's the closest one. That's pretty close again.
Offsides on the kickers. Nebraska elects a re-kick after a 5-yard penalty.
Florida State fans are well aware of this has been a big quarter for them all season long. They've outscored the opposition 170 to 24 in the third period this year. So Tom Osborne's team facing that note. Perhaps why Bobby Bowden said, hey, we'll defer and take the ball.
Sure. But I mean, even the most ardent Florida State fan would say this is not the Florida State team that we have seen throughout this 93 football season.
Well, he showed all those upsets to his team last night to remind them that they can't be overconfident. The one he didn't was 1969 here at the Orange Bowl. Remember that upset?
Joe Willie Namath and guaranteeing victory on this field. This old lady, this Orange Bowl has seen a lot of important games.
Jets were some 18-point underdogs as the AFC champions and beat the Colts and Don Shula. So they re-kick it, and Dixon from the 6 behind the wedge and accelerates to the 27-yard line. Tommy Frazier from Manatee High School in Bradenton, and there are his parents cheering on this young man who admitted that he tried to do too much in his first Orange Bowl game a year ago.
We're here seeing his son in the prime of his career doing what he wants to do. Unfortunately, Tommy has an older brother watching this game from prison in northern Florida.
They're trailing by 8. Nebraska with the ball. Frazier's toss goes to Lawrence Phillips, and the true freshman is to the 29-yard line.
Again, Dick, time and time we've seen one of the big things about this Nebraska offense is this option and the ability to pitch. But time and time again, you see the outside linebackers just there to make the pitch happen so early that it's really affected almost the entire pitch offense of Nebraska. At that time, it was James Roberson who was out there, and that's been consistent tonight.
Number 1, Lawrence Phillips, his first carry, and that's only 1 yard. Here's Frazier on the quarterback draw out to the 37-yard line, and that's close to a first down. Derek Alexander had that big first sack and on the tackle. And they're going to say knee down at the 36, so it'll be 3rd and 1.
Excuse me, that's been one of their big plays tonight for Nebraska, the quarterback draw.
Frazier rushed for over 700 yards. Scored 9 touchdowns rushing and threw for 12 more scores. First true freshman to ever start at quarterback for University of Nebraska.
Oops.
And the flag goes down. Looks like a full start. Zach Wiegert, 72, one of those moving.
Again, I think the most penalized team in the game tonight has been Nebraska, which kind of surprises me. This is normally a very disciplined team.
Dead ball. False start on the offense. Still 3rd.
That's a tough 5 yards because you go from 3rd and 1 to 3rd and 6. Wiegert from Fremont, Nebraska. His brother played for the Huskers as well, Eric.
He kind of responded to Derek Alexander. Nickname Sluggo is Wiegert. Sluggo.
And Lumpy is the other tackle, Lance Lundberg, a couple of 300-pounders. Frazier Slants and hits Dixon. First down at the 45-46-yard line. Wrestled down by Coles and Bush. That safety combination for Florida State. 15 on the play.
Tommy Frazier got about 60 family members come down from Bradenton to see him play in the Orange Bowl. Admitted last year he was so nervous playing here. Grew up watching this bowl. Came down to Miami. Was recruited by Miami, Florida State, Florida, but chose the other conference, the Big 8, and goes to Nebraska.
Told his mom when he was a little lad, he said, I'm going to be like Doug Williams. I'm going to be a black quarterback and win a Super Bowl someday. Trying to win something pretty big here today, and he's short on this throw. It was intended for Clester Johnson. Again, Abdul Muhammad injured in the first half. The leading receiver went out, and now Frazier looks as if he might have been injured, holding his arm. And the leading rusher, Calvin Jones, also out in the second half for Nebraska. That's a couple pretty tough lumps to swallow.
Couldn't really tell what happened to Tommy Frazier. Remember, he got hit in the first half, and it affected his arm a little bit. Looks like he's grabbing hold of his bicep.
There's Jones, the leading rusher, second leading ball carrier in Nebraska history. Only a junior, but he's out. And here's Lawrence Phillips through a big hole. And the true freshman from California is to the 39-yard line and a first down.
Dick, Florida State has allowed Nebraska this opportunity to be in this game. 42 seconds and counting into the third quarter. This is exactly the situation, the scenario that Tom Osborne was hoping for his football team. Calvin Jones is out. Their leading receiver is out. This is a team of character, and here it's showing. They've still got the chance, Dick.
30 seconds to go in the third quarter, and this freshman from Southern California has his biggest game of the night. The fake reverse, and now Frazier throwing to Dixon, who's open and catches it. A juggling catch and a tackle at the 12. Richard Coase fighting for the ball, but Dixon able to wrest it away, and a first down at the state 12.
It looked like Coase slipped a little bit. Oh, what a great catch by Dixon. That thing was kind of bouncing all over the place.
Torrey Dixon, who was voted the Huskers' most valuable player last year in this game with 5 catches and 1 touchdown. He's had a touchdown on a punt return called back tonight, 71 yards. So the Frazier clan helping the Nebraska crowd, and they won't get another play off. That is the end of 3 for the national championship. Florida State 15, Nebraska 7. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. New Year's night in South Florida, and a classic developing in this 60th Federal Express Orange Bowl. Florida State down 7-6 at the half, scoring all of the points in the third quarter to take an 8-point lead. But Nebraska driving their deepest position inside the 20-yard line. And Tommy Frazier sets him up at the 13. Give to Phillips, and the freshman has a touchdown. Officially 12 yards, and Phillips, who is the quickest and fastest of the talented core of tailbacks or I-backs at Nebraska, makes it 15-13, and does Osborne go for 2?
As this was the end zone that he tried several years ago. He said all week, he said, I'd do it again. I'd go for 2. Knowing what has happened and the fact that I've never won a national championship because of it, I would still go for 2.
Well, this is a different 2. This is a 2-2 tie.
Yep.
Phillips 3 carries and 29 yards and 1 touchdown. Is the third I-back with Calvin Jones on the sidelines. What's the call here? Clester Johnson in motion. Frazier. He had a man open in the end zone but didn't throw it. Knocked out of bounds at the 1 by Ken Alexander. He had an open red jersey but couldn't get the ball up to throw it. Tried to run, and Florida State denies. It remains 15-13.
He's got one option. Here's the guy who's going to be open in the end zone that you're talking about, Dick. It's Gerald Armstrong, but he's well covered. I mean, the defender is just between the receiver and the quarterback, so Frazier has to run. And then Derek Alexander makes a big tackle. Brooks gets knocked on his face by Schlesinger.
Ken Alexander and Derek Alexander, not related, denying. So it's a team that led the nation not only in offense but in defense, and that combination moving them to the top rung on the national polls, but lead by only 2 as Nebraska has marched 73 yards in 7 convincing plays, the final 12 by Lawrence Phillips. And with 14:55 left in the 4th quarter, it's a 2-point game. And Osborne, honest to Pete, the whole world could be crumbling, and I don't think he'd change expression.
I agree.
He's just like Mount Rushmore.
I agree. Yeah, we were talking to him about his friends, his coaches, and he says, well, it's a short list. Joe Paterno, Bobby Bowden. He says, but more importantly, not many enemies either. And that seemed more important to him.
Glenn Mason was another. He mentioned Kansas. Says he likes to just get away. He just wants to be out there and fly fishing. The kick to Philip Riley. Riley gets a nice block, and to the 20 to 25-yard line, and the flag is down. That's the 33 of Florida State. John Reese made the stop. Referee John Sophie says it's against the Noles.
As we go back to the touchdown, this is the classic counter. They block down, these guys pull. I mean, it is beautifully executed. And when you're a running back and you see that much room, it's easy to get to the end zone. Well blocked by Nebraska. Excellent call. It's going to come from right to left. I mean, that's the way you draw it up on the chalkboard. You hope someday it works. It just happens to work in the Orange Bowl.
For a possible national title. West Virginia trailing now 35-7. So much of the drama will be number 1. It does indeed appear that the winner of this game will be the national champion, although some will argue that Notre Dame, should Florida State win based on the Irish victory earlier, would be the national titles. Ward gives to Floyd, and that big fullback is tough to bring down. He's out to the 20-yard line. Stewart and Wright make the stop, but it takes plenty of bodies to get this junior from St. Petersburg to the turf.
There's some question as to whether or not William Floyd will be back for his senior year at Florida State. You mentioned Marion Butts. This guy is a clone of Marion Butts. And in fact, Marion Butts didn't carry the ball much when he was here at Florida State. Blocked and played special teams.
Contact is my high. That's, boy, he said, you know how you get kind of wobbly and tingly when you get hit? Well, I guess. Ward out the outside, and it's McCorvey working the sidelines, and a first down for the Noles at the 27. Tyrone Williams bumped him out of bounds 11 more yards.
Well, Dick, Florida State's been able to run from the shotgun, so it's allowed these receivers to get open on the outside, also in the shotgun. Again, not particularly well thrown by Charlie Ward, not much of a spiral, but McCorvey catches all of that ball, the front end, the middle, and then the back for a reception.
130 career catches for this junior. 4 of them tonight. First down is the Seminoles after the penalty on the kickoff. It moved out to their own 32. Floyd. And this time shot down, and the penalty of making a tackle on Floyd being felt by the Nebraska player down, number 5, Lorenzo Brinkley. His dad, Lorenzo Sr., was an old Big 8 defensive back at Missouri in the early 70s.
I think Brinkley puts his arm out here, and the truck goes through. They're looking at his forearm.
And we'll take the timeout with 13:50 left in the 4th.
Department.
All right, Anna, not for the national championship, but SC finishes second on that victory. And here is William Floyd at the goal line.
And here's Toby Wright making the contact. And I still don't think he was in the end zone, although it was ruled a touchdown immediately.
And number 48 for Nebraska, Mike Anderson, fell on it in the end zone.
That angle, still the official closest to us down the line. This one is hard to pick up.
On the far side now, is the man who calls
the signal.
He can't see it because their body's all in front of the fumble.
Beeler is in front of it, between him and the ball carrier.
Now that's the difference in the game. Floyd in or out, but in is the way it'll read in the history books, and it's 15-13 Florida State. Almost the entire fourth quarter to go. Second down and 8. Ward hit as he throws and blocked. It was Kez McCorvey perhaps running before he really pulled it in. That could have been a touchdown.
John Reese was the man in coverage, and you're right. If he hangs onto that one, he is still running. Charlie Ward again, not a particularly good throw. Watch, it's thrown behind Kez McCorvey. If it's thrown in stride, this is gone. This is a track meet, and McCorvey wins.
Well, he might have been looking for John Reese. That was tough enough to make that catch. And meanwhile, Ward really feeling the pressure from Dwayne Harris. Florida State is 0 for 8 tonight on third downs. Regular season, 56%.
A lot of numbers have changed tonight for Florida State.
Ward needs 8 for a first down, and he starts to run, then throws. What a catch! With a flag down, it's Kevin Knox pulling it in at the 49.
He was horizontal when he caught that one.
Let's see the call. $15 yards if.
Holding, defense. The pass is complete. The penalty is declined. More than 10 yards. First down.
Well, they convert for the first time tonight. 1 out of 9.
Well, they call it on
Tyrone Williams.
Yeah, Tyrone Williams. And did you see that horizontal hanging onto the football?
Well, you watch them in practice, and you know we cover the NFL all season long. You would have sworn you were watching a National Football League team. On the run, Ward and another catch at the 45 of Nebraska as Knox calls this one in.
As a matter of fact, you were. Excuse me. We'll come back. Go ahead, Dick.
First, an injury report, Bob. Let's go to OJ. And meanwhile, a cramp by Tyrone Williams. I understand you're having some audio difficulties, and those have been corrected. OJ?
More bad news for Nebraska. Their starting defensive back, Lorenzo Brinkley. You saw him get injured making that tackle, has broken his arm. Dr. Claire said it was a broken humerus, which is a part of the arm, and he will not return to the game, Dick.
That's the big bone in the upper arm, and trying a one-arm tackle on William Floyd, costly to Brinkley.
Now that's Calvin Jones out, Abdul Muhammad out. Oh, a broken bone for
Lorenzo Brinkley.
Floyd's coming right. Watch it. He's going to stick out his right arm, and it hits right on his knee and snaps the humerus.
Tyrone Williams, who's been tested all night long, is out, and Kareem Moss, a junior, has replaced him at a corner. Ward buying some time, and now throws it up for grabs. Oh my! Kevin Knox was there again. The senior from Niceville, Florida, had 42 catches on the regular season, and Ward went to him most for the touchdown, 7 on the season.
Trev Alberts also at the end of this play does get a hit on Charlie Ward. Charlie Ward doesn't give up on the play, neither does Trev Alberts. He's got a little grass stain on his uniform there, not something he's used to seeing on number 17.
That he'll take off for about a week and then rejoin the basketball team, and will be playing against the University of Maryland on January 11th. As a point guard of the Seminoles, took them to the final 8 of the NCAA basketball tournament last year. It's third down and 4. And this one of the few tonight that hasn't been close to anyone. I guess McCorvey was the intended receiver.
Somebody ran the wrong pattern. Yeah, Charlie's saying you should have gone out for Des McCorvey.
He was described in the Sports Illustrated feature on him as a leaner. He's so quiet as Charlie Ward that you have to lean in to listen to him. Boy, that was the experience, all right.
Yeah, but how about his parents? Dad is a coach, Mom is a librarian. Dad used to get all mad at Charlie Ward. Mom would have to defend Charlie to Dad. Leave him alone. He's all right.
What a high boomer by Sean List. Dixon, let's go. And not saved. It was hit by 2 Seminoles and comes back out a 25-yard net. Nebraska trailing by 2 against Florida State. Will have the ball at their 20 when we return. Heisman hero Charlie Ward and Florida State ranked #1 in the AP poll, leading by only 2. Heavy favorites for this national championship. And it's the Huskers with the ball at the 20, and Lawrence Phillips, who was the star in the last series, is into the secondary again and picks up a dozen. He carried 3 times for 29 yards in the last drive and had 12 for the touchdown. Richard Coes with the tackle.
Dick, they scored on a counter series play. This time they do it this side. We got the blocking down here, the pull. This is the one they scored on, only ran it to the right side. And this time Phillips again, excellent move to get inside that one last guy that they couldn't account for in the blocking to pick up 12 yards.
Young man who grew up in Southern California, UCLA territory. Inside handoff and out to the 39-yard line. Jeff Makovica, the fullback. Another of those 8-man football players out of Nebraska. These hardy Cornhuskers. As Osborne said, you can't zip open that chest and look at the heart. You can talk all you want about who has the greatest athletes and who has more talent and depth of talent. But he said you could tell all week long there was an edge to this man, more than you normally will see. And he felt that his team was going to play tough tonight. Second down and a long 5 for Frazier. Got some blockers. Great fake on the pitch, and they had to respect Phillips the way he's run, so Frazier darts out to the 50 and another first down. 12 more. Tackled by Derek Alexander.
That's 2 straight plays of 12 yards, and again, a great choice. You're right, Dick, on the pitch. He fakes the pitch out to Phillips. It draws the cornerback out. Clifton Abraham, and then Tommy Frazier turns it up. Never been afraid to run the football. Prefers to throw it, but never been afraid to run the football.
The Huskers are some 42 pounds per man, outweighing the defensive front, the offensive line. And as one says, keep it close to the 4th period. That's where we played our best football, and 4 yards on that carry by Phillips. Now they're going to spot it closer to the 47, so call it a long 3. Nance and Bush with the stop.
Dick, now look what Florida State's trying to do. Put a few more guys up there to try to make it more difficult for Nebraska to run. Again, great down blocking by those big offensive linemen from Nebraska, Sluggo and Lumpy and others.
Temperature at kickoff time, 75 degrees. Hasn't cooled much since. Breeze has died down. 10:24 left in the game. Frazier on second down to Phillips on the handoff, and the freshman gets to the 44, and that's all. Stuffed by Nance, the 262-pound nose guard, who off-season had a benign tumor removed from his left shoulder. A scary time. He's playing with a hamstring pull. That is Bartow, Florida team, with the state title a couple of years ago.
Well, they weren't sure he was going to come back and play at all with that benign tumor. Has played well.
3rd down and 4. Caught and tackled immediately was Clester Johnson, and that's going to depend on the spot. It would appear that is a first down. Yes.
Boy, that's a tough throw to complete, Dick. Roll left, the right-handed quarterback, roll left and square his shoulders around and then make the completion, and Tommy Frazier does it. How about that block by Lance Lundberg, lumpy. He just put Eric Alexander right on his back in the pass protection. Frazier's played well. He's played within himself. He's not made the big mistake yet tonight, Dick.
Just first down, a little more from field goal range, trailing by 2. Frazier passing on first down. He scores on that one to Trumaine Bell, who has a first down at the Florida State 24. 16 yards to the tight end. And a Florida State player down, Devin Bush.
Trumaine Bell, the tight end to the left side as Tommy Frazier rolls. Again, a very good throw by Tommy Frazier. This is a kid who completes only 47% of his passes. He's throwing a little better tonight than I think he has in other Nebraska games.
Look at 16, though. It looks like he's right there for the interception, but it slips down. Frazier now has thrown for 166 yards as they attend to Bush, who's been a very productive player at safety. He's from Miami, a 205-pounder, runs a 4.4 40. This is a young man we told you about that as a kid worked as an usher for the University of Miami games here at the Orange Bowl.
Well, he's seen a lot of this Orange Bowl surface.
Meanwhile, the Huskers are inside the 25-yard line, trailing 15-13 with 9 minutes to go.
And if you could have set Tom Osborne down and 3 days ago said, what would you like, how would you like this to play out? This is exactly what he's talking about. My team has the ball. We're in the game. It's late in the game. We've worn out the defense. We think we have the character to win.
The injuries to 2 of his big offensive weapons, his top receiver, Abdul Muhammad, out. But Corey Dixon and others have picked up the slack. And then the top rusher, Calvin Jones, out. But Lawrence Phillips, more of an unknown, although he did rush for some 500 yards during the regular season with more speed. And you can see Florida State respecting Phillips more, and that has opened up Frazier, giving him more time to throw. In fact, Frazier is 8 for 9 this half passing.
And you know, he's done a lot on the rollout, very little from just standing back in the pocket. There's Phillips, who scored the touchdown.
We're waiting for Devin Bush, who was in on the tackle, still being attended.
These are the scary ones, Dick, when you see the head and neck go into the shoulder or shoulder pads. And it looked like he was out when he hit the ground. And the trainers are being very, very careful with him.
Well, Bob, you're headed double duty up to Tampa for the San Diego Charger game, and prior to all of our double header action at 12:30, we'll hear what Joe Montana thinks about his first year on the AFC side and playing with the Kansas City Chiefs, and with the thought of going back to a Super Bowl from the other yard. There are the early games, and there are all playoff or home field contentions involved in those first 4 games. They're the teams that are already in the AFC: Buffalo, Houston, Kansas City, Denver. 2 more will make it, and Miami and the Raiders can be the 2 if they win tomorrow. So you'll see those 2 games, and the Jets and Pittsburgh looking for Miami or the Raiders to lose, and that they might slip in as a wild card. So that's all ahead tomorrow, beginning at 12:30 Eastern time.
I would say this is a busy football weekend. All the bowl games today, professional games tomorrow.
And Bush, fortunately, on his feet, and from our president, Dick Ebersol, on down to our executive producer, Tommy Roy, all the crew here in Tempe, Arizona, and in Dallas, with all the coverage, the full core of NBC personnel working on this New Year's Day. And this developing into one of the memorable games as Lawrence Phillips looking for a block. And he is hit well on the outside by Corey Sawyer and Mac Knight. It looked as if there might be room for him to cut upfield, but a terrific job by that tandem to make the stop.
Again, Eric Alexander also had a hand in it too. He stretched it out and allowed the defensive backs to be there and catch up with the running back.
If they should get into a field goal situation here, Byron Bennett, longest of this year and longest of his career, is 48 yards. They'd be within that right now. 2nd down and 8. Draw to Phillips, And no place to go. Derek Alexander again making a big hit for the Seminoles.
Dick, that looked like Tommy Frazier almost lost the ball as he was going back to hand it off. He never really had it cleanly. I don't think he was trying to fake any, but he was trying to show the old Statue of Liberty play. I'm going to pass, hands it to Phillips, and Florida State doesn't buy it.
It was Nance, John Nance, give him credit there on the left of your screen. He was the one who invades first and destroys the original intent. There he
Absolutely.
is.
He's the nose tackle. He's the nose tackle. You're right. It changes the direction of the running back, and then everybody else catches up with it.
So the 10th play of the drive from the 24, where it is 3rd down and long. 10. And Frazier wasn't going to get it off in time. Play was late coming in, and then checking the defense. Wanted to be sure. This is the time where you don't want to lose yards with a long field goal. One of the possibilities for the Huskers, who trail by 2. So few opportunities arise where you can win a national championship. And 2 of the legends of the game, Tom Osborne and his counterpart on the Florida State sidelines, Bobby Bowden, looking for their first, if nothing else, to satisfy all their fans of their universities and to get those questions off their shoulders. Right now at the 24, this would be a 41-yard field goal. And there's flags down as Frazier is inside the 15 to the 14. It would be a first down, but it appeared to be a false start, Nebraska.
Dead ball. False start.
Oh.
Offensive line. Feet to center snap.
Well, Dick, this is a beautiful play. Nebraska's found something that works here if they can just avoid the penalties. This is a quarterback counter. It works beautifully. Watch what happens. It's the left tackle that moves prematurely. Actually, it's
the whole
several people also, but it's the quarterback counter. And Tommy Frazier runs it like a running back. But again, the flag, so we try it again.
Not only moves it back 5, but moves back a possible field goal attempt. And Byron Bennett has not made a field goal in the last 5 games.
We got some problem with the officials here.
So it's 3rd and 14 from the Noles 29-yard line. And we get a report that Devin Bush, who led Florida State in tackles tonight with 11, left rather wobbly after a head injury, will not return tonight. Frazier going through the options. It would appear that Frazier's going to have to load up that right arm and try the pass here. When that carries its inherent risks from interceptions to a sack.
He's played beautifully tonight. He's protected the football. He's not made any major mistakes.
And he goes to the shotgun. Good protection, intercepted. Picked off by Richard Coase. And Coase finally knocked down at the 30-yard line, and a flag goes down. With 6:55 to go. And Nebraska within a field goal of the lead. The first turnover of significance.
Walking back above the waist on the receivers after the interception.
So that will come back from the 30.
After a 10-yard penalty.
They'll mark it back to the 20-yard line.
Here's the interceptor and the intended receiver. And I'm not sure, Tommy, we just mentioned that Tommy Frazier had not made any mistakes tonight. But the safety is waiting there for Clester Johnson. And Coase makes the interception. And I don't know that the game is over. 6:55 left, but that was Osborne's best chance, and that's about as much emotion as you get out of Tom Osborne.
It was a 5.5-minute drive. They started back at their own 20. And Frazier, disheartened, knew he had made a mistake. So the penalty takes it back to the 20-yard line with 6:55 to go. The other turnover was the interception at the end of the half, which was just a, throw it up and hope something special would happen. That was a real turn.
That one hurt. Now Bobby Bowden got his headset on here. I would expect him to run a little more because he's more involved in the running game.
And that's what he does. And hitting the backfield is Sean Jackson. Jackson, who was just a 9 totally in the first half. And Kevin Raymakers, the senior from Norfolk, Nebraska, third youngest of 10 children, registers the hit, tackled for a loss. So 7 carries for Jackson for a -4 yards tonight.
And Dick, just to give you some indication, Jackson came in again 6.2 yards per carry, 825 yards rushing for Florida State. Nebraska has removed him from the game.
A loss of 3. Florida State has not given up the ball the entire night. And there's Vanover on the sideline, or McCorvey rather, and he is hit by John Reese at the 23-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and about 7.
Oh, that was a key tackle by Reese. One of the things that Florida State likes to do is get their receiver on your defender one-on-one. Make the tackle, you make the play. Miss the tackle, we got to score.
McCorvey with the 74 catches, one of the top receivers in the nation. And that completion by Tommy Frazier ties an Orange Bowl record, 21 he's completed tonight. Now 3rd and 7. And the throw on this side is caught inside the 30. Let's see where they mark it. At the 29, not enough for the first down. Tyrone Williams makes the tackle on Tomrick Vanover. And for a moment, it looked like that was floating up there for a possible interception.
Dick, I thought somebody hit Charlie Ward's arm. It was not enough to convert the 3rd down to first, but I had the same feeling you did. It was taking a long time to get there.
22 completions, Orange Bowl record that he continues to build upon for Charlie Ward. So Nebraska gets another chance under 5 minutes to go. Sean List to punt. It comes to Kareem Moss. And Moss goes down, and so does a yellow flag, and it's Tyrone Williams who reacts again. It was Williams who appeared to be ticketed in the first half on a 71-yard return by Corey Dixon for a touchdown that was nullified.
This one is a little more obvious.
And that's from the spot of the foul, which is going to take it back to about the 20-yard line. So the penalty really chews up a lot of real estate against Nebraska.
Pushing it back above the waist on the return. 1st and 10 from the 20.
Tom Osborne and the Nebraska Cornhuskers, big underdogs, within 2 with 4.5 left. Final minutes of the Federal Express Orange Bowl, with national championship most likely to the winner. Bring you now the proof positive instant replay. And it's a replay of this attempt by quarterback Tommy Frazier, picked off by Richard Coase, that denied the Huskers a chance at a field goal that would have given them, if successful, the lead.
Tommy Frazier's 2nd Orange Bowl, just his sophomore season. That to me is the only mistake he's made tonight. He's learned a lot from last year.
80 yards away, the Huskers, but they don't need to go the full 80. If they can get to the 20, they'd be within reasonable field goal range for Byron Bennett, whose success not great, 6 out of 11 on the year, but that's getting ahead of ourselves. Frazier to Phillips. Phillips outside. Phillips still on his feet, and he's to the 37-yard line. Fumbles, but was down at the 37 is ruled. Ken Alexander, 36, trailing, makes the hit. Boy, this kid in the open field is exciting.
He's got speed, and also Tommy Frazier does an excellent job of getting him the ball. It's going to be coming right at you, but watch what happens. See if we can pick up what happens to Corey Sawyer. He is held by Johnson right there, and that really affects the support. But you're right, Phillips, excellent speed, knows when to turn those shoulders up the field.
Playing only in the 2nd half, he leads all rushers with those 65. Phillips again. Fumbles. And it appeared that one of the linemen downfield, yes, Zach Wiegert, fell on it for Nebraska. Oh, my.
They run the counter again. I could not see who hit Phillips. Coming right at you. It's Wiegert that leads out in front.
Derek Alexander.
Yeah, but it looked like it slipped out. I didn't really see that much contact.
Wiegert, a two-time All-Big 8 tackle, saves the day for Nebraska. He'll have a chance for a bow if they can move this down and score. 3:35 left. Frazier to Quester Johnson, and he goes down by. Field can't cause a fumble, and he's down. Drops the ball. That's a completed pass.
They're counting that as a reception.
Yes.
I think that ball bounced.
No, he caught it. Then he bounced, and the ball bounced out after he hit the ground. Let's take a look.
He's running the crossing route.
He catches.
He does catch it.
Well, I don't think he has control.
No, he never has control.
Never pulled it in. That should have been incomplete.
But it counts as a reception.
Well, there have been some curious officiating calls in this one that'll be played by both sides depending on winner and loser. 3 minutes and 5 seconds left. There's the draw by Frazier. Runs up the back of those big linemen to the 40 of Florida State. An 8-yard gain. And the drama gets thicker. And Byron Bennett, the senior, who rooms with Trev Alberts. Well, he and his pet boa constrictor, Sam, room with Trev Alberts.
But you know a kicker has a boa constrictor.
It may be his chance. Would that happen? That Bowden, who's lost national championship when his own kickers missed, to be beaten by the field goal. Frazier, keeper, 35, has blockers, one man to beat at the 20. He's at the 10 to the 9, and a flag down is the tackle made by Matt Knight, and he may have had the face mask. Oh my, listen to Nebraska. .31 yards plus.
Second leading rusher for Nebraska. Tough kid. When he turns it upfield, he means business. Nice move there to get inside Coase. Finally, Mac Knight has to make the tackle. 31-yard pickup.
Plus the penalty. And that's
major.
Going to take it half the distance inside the 5, so it'll be Nebraska first and goal at the 4-yard line. 4 yards from a possible championship. 15-13, Florida State with 2:18 left. Schlesinger 40, the fullback and blocking back, and the freshman Phillips. It's Phillips on the toss, and ooh, is he upended. What a hit. Clifton Abraham slashing in from his corner spot. This young man from Dallas has lived a very frightening life. He said until he came to Florida State, he never really sat next to a white person. He has twin brothers in prison. His father was shot in the streets of Dallas, and he said, this is my chance. And if I make it and make money, I'm going to spend a lot of it helping kids in the inner city. Number 2.
That was a big tackle, and he also got inside a blocker to stop Nebraska's running back there.
Second and goal. Clock continues to run. 1.5 left. Phillips runs up the back of his blockers. Nothing there. And the clock runs, and Florida State may now elect to call time to save themselves some time, if indeed a field goal attempt is what Tom Osborne's after. And in fact, there is the timeout. Nebraska now, Bob Trumpy, you said, reflecting on the Notre Dame victory over Florida State, where Notre Dame rushed the ball 49 times. If Nebraska ran at 49 tonight, they could beat Florida State.
So what's
that was their 43rd rush.
43rd rush.
For 187 yards.
Well, this is played right to Nebraska's game plan.
I would guess Tom Osborne will not call a pass play. What do you think?
You're a genius. You sure know a lot about
I just said, but I'm setting myself up because I don't think Osborne is as close to the vest and as conservative as some people tag him.
No question whatsoever. His field goal kicker has not made an attempt tonight. Yes, you play the percentages here, and I think in all instances Tom Osborne will first and foremost play the percentages.
His field goal kicker hasn't tried one since November, and he hasn't made one since nearly October.
Well, but I mean, we're basically talking about an extra point here if they just fall on the ball here and kick it.
No field goals the last 5 games for Nebraska. They've gone 75 yards on this drive in 7 plays, consumed 3 minutes 15 seconds. So Florida State, with 2 timeouts left, has 1:24 to go. For 6 games in the last 5 for Bennett.
He's had a lot of exercise tonight, though. I mean, he's punted 6 or 7 times, so it's not as if he just punted 7 times. It's not as if he just stood over there on the sideline. This is when, yeah, 1 PAT also. This is when the kicker is by himself. No one talks to him. Just leave him there to collect his thoughts.
Well, do you just play it, ask Bennett where he wants the ball, and you play there and set it up? Or do you go for the big enchilada?
No enchiladas here.
Phillips, whose fumble was recovered by Zach Wiegert. Otherwise, Florida State would have the ball, and it's Phillips who gets the handoff, and down he goes with a loss. John Nance, that nose guard, with another big play. And now Florida State calls time. They have 1 timeout left.
Notice, too, that Florida State now has put into the lineup one of their receivers, Kevin Knox, in here to try to block the field goal attempt. I'm not sure if it's going to be around the corner or over the top. But
well, he's 6'3" and has one of the best verticals, 38 inches on the team. Number 81 Knox, so watch him up the middle to try to block. And Bennett with a lot to think about. From Rolette, Texas. And last year in this Orange Bowl missed a 23-yarder and a 39-yard field goal attempt. And this one will be about 27. So he missed one shorter than this last year.
And Dick, this goalpost at this end of this stadium may haunt Bobby Bowden forever. This is where the wide right one was when he had the opportunity to beat Miami. He's looking at that same goalpost again. Nothing good has happened around that goalpost for that man.
Well, he's not only has to think about how to deny this field goal, but think ahead to the play calling should Byron Bennett be successful. And this also is the same end where Tom Osborne 10 years ago to this night had a chance, could have kicked a field or an extra point for a tie against Miami. Would have been good enough for a national title. Went for the win and failed on that 2-point pass attempt, and Miami 31-30 denied the Huskers the national championship.
Ooh.
27 yards. How big for this 23-year-old senior? It's good.
So many things in a football game. The other day we were at Nebraska's practice and they stopped practice in the middle of it, had the field goal kicker go out there and kick. Tom Osborne's kicker was prepared. Ooh. Good pressure by Florida State.
So the Nebraska Cornhuskers are showing that heart that Osborne talked about with 10 points in this 4th quarter.
And Tommy Frazier, the big run to get him down there. Yes, the young man from Bradenton, Florida, playing in front of 60 members of his family, and they're right up there where he's running and screaming.
But it's not over yet. Florida State, as high-powered as any collegiate football team in the nation, will have 1:16 and 1 timeout. And of course, the clock stopped with first downs to move into field goal range themselves. And body language on field goals has never quite gone Bobby Bowden's way.
Especially not on that goalpost.
And it's now up for Charlie Ward. the collegiate hero, the Heisman Award winner, the leader of this Florida State team that many regard the best in the nation, to rally his team under the pressure of time for a victory over a group from Nebraska that would make any fan of the underdog pleased tonight, not just Nebraska fans. Deep to return will be Philip Riley and Tomarek Vanover. Vanover, number 80, has had some huge kick returns in his career. And it's going to go out of bounds. A flag is down, out of bounds. That'll be in the 35-yard line for Florida State.
I think they make us kick it over, get another chance.
Even at the 35, let's go to O.J. Simpson.
Well, one problem that Florida State might have once they get the ball is when Charlie Ward came off the field the last time, he said he hurt his left shoulder in the third quarter. It was beginning to stiffen up on him. So he spent most of that drive by Nebraska throwing the ball on the sideline, trying to get it loose so that he'll be able to throw on this next drive, Dick.
And he's saying, let's take the ball at the 35-yard line. That might be... Yes, they're going to decline the offside penalty against Nebraska. Florida State starts from the 35. Scott Bentley recruited heavily away from Notre Dame, so much so that it became a national story, and he was a cover boy in SI. Is the field goal kicker that awaits Ward's success. If he is, then Bentley could get a chance at a field goal to win it.
Now, this is what Heisman history is all about. A game like this to go with the trophy, a performance in the last 1/16 of the Orange Bowl for the national championship.
Watch 34 on the near side, Trev Alberts. He has 3 sacks so far tonight. Ward throws it up. Over the head of his receiver, and fortunately over the head of the defender for Nebraska, number 23, Ernie Beeler.
Yeah, I think he's just throwing this out of bounds again. It's Connealy with the pressure. Trev Alberts was on the outside. Nebraska's done a good job of getting pressure up in front of Charlie Ward's face all night long.
Ran over far left with McCorvey in the slot. And Ward done in the backfield. The little guy from Baton Rouge, and they throw to him, and he's dangerous in the open field, and he's smart enough to get out of bounds at the 43-yard line. That's not enough for the first down, and will bring up 3rd down and 2. 1:03 remaining. And there's Bentley, the freshman from Aurora, Colorado. Career-long 47 yards, but as we've told you, he's not been that successful from long range until tonight, when he's matched his 2 from outside the 30 with 2 this evening. Knocked away by Tyrone Williams, intended for Kevin Knox, and that'll bring up 4th and a long 1. And now the game hangs on this play with exactly 1 minute to go.
I don't think Bobby Bowden cares if he loses by 7 or 8 points. He wants to win by any margin, so yes, you go for it.
Rare bedfellows. Notre Dame fans cheering for Florida State in this situation. The give to Floyd, and he just does cross the 45 and get a first down. And of course, the collegiate rules really help a team in this spot, coming from behind without a lot of timeouts nor time. That stops the clock to move the chains, even though it's only a 1.5-yard game.
It looked like there were 12 guys at the line of scrimmage there for Nebraska, Dick.
And they wind it up, and Florida State used only 3 or 4 seconds. Now Ward in the open field to Dunn. Anderson can't get him, and Dunn is out of bounds, and a flag goes down. Oh my! Oh my! Nebraska, I believe, is going to be called for a personal foul as Dunn streaks out of bounds and is hit by Baron Miles.
Had several penalties tonight that have been so much out of character for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Everyone is hurt, and hurt badly. Anderson, the linebacker, can't catch him. He's out of bounds. Yes, flag thrown. That's easy. That adds 15 yards onto it. Tom Osborne said, no, please.
Well, the officials have been consistent. It doesn't take a real vicious hit, just any contact, and that's the personal foul.
The dead ball, personal foul, late hit out of bounds.
So that moves Florida State with 45 seconds into field goal range. And now it's a matter of protecting the ball for Bobby Bowden. All the way to the 18-yard line, which would make it about a 35-yard field goal here. Or does Charlie Ward and Florida State go for a touchdown bomb to put it away?
I don't think I'd put this thing up.
He is. And throws almost a touchdown to Kez McCorvey, who had a left hand on the ball, open. And the only reason that wasn't a touchdown, the pressure on Ward, he had to unload.
These guys are like riverboat gamblers anymore, Dick. They got guts. The coaches have guts. They'll do anything they want. They have great confidence in this offense's ability to throw the ball. It's like a handoff.
41 seconds, second down and 10. I don't think Bobby wants it to be decided on a field goal. He didn't trust those things. Throwing toward the end zone, and there's the flag, interference, 15 yards against Toby Wright. Now that's going to move Florida State half the distance to the goal line, inside the 10.
That's twice tonight there have been key interference penalties on drives against Nebraska. I don't think this was catchable. I mean, that's questionable as to whether or not he can get to that ball. I thought he was playing for the play.
Tom Osborne, 21 great seasons in Nebraska, never winning less than 9 games. Bobby Bowden, his record equally remarkable. He's won 10 or more the last 7 seasons, and each man still without a national championship. And they mark off the full 15 to the 3-yard line. 115 yards on penalties against Nebraska tonight. And one of them cost them 71 more yards on the punt return for a touchdown denied Nebraska. 35 seconds to go. And the give is to Sean Jackson. Jackson, who has not been able to clear the line of scrimmage much all night long, is swarmed by red shirts, and timeout called by Florida State, their last. Two years ago, Miami, Florida State. Florida State looks good all the way and misses wide right, and the Seminoles denied, and Bobby Bowden thought he had victory and loses by 1, and that could have been a national title. 92 last year for a tie. Mowry wide right, and Miami prevails. The tie could have given the Seminoles, who finished second in the nation, the national championship. And apparently it's going to come down to another field goal, a very short one. They're on the right hash.
Well, they always said that the first championship you win is the most difficult.
Now Notre Dame, of course, they are saying they beat Florida State. They squeaked out against a tough Texas A&M team to win the Cotton Bowl today. If Florida State wins narrowly, you'll hear some justifiable campaigning by the Irish. There's the AP top 5 coming in. Auburn, of course, on probation, ineligible for the national title. So it really is the winner of this one and Notre Dame that figure in the final balloting to be decided by poll tomorrow.
Yeah, if Florida State wins, I think the argument goes on for a long time. Nebraska wins, the argument's over. Nebraska is the champion. Bobby Bowden wants you to consider this. When it comes to basketball,
they're going to kick it right now, Bob. They're not going to, with 24 seconds to go, risk a possible turnover. And if Nebraska ever had a blocked field goal play, this is the time.
Absolutely it is.
3 for 4 tonight by Bentley, who is on the college football preview issue, the cover boy, choosing late to go to Florida State over Notre Dame for just this.
He's got it. There's going to be a penalty here for the excessive celebration, and Nebraska will have 21 seconds for a possible miracle. Scott Bentley, 22-yard field goal. The 4 field goals tying an Orange Bowl record, but none bigger in the history of Florida State than that short shot by Bentley.
He hit this one squarely. Took his time. You can see the rotation on the ball. Perfect spin. Hit it perfectly.
Dead center.
Good concentration.
An 18-year-old youngster with all the pressure of an entire football program and a possible national championship.
Yeah, I'm sure he said, what's the big deal? So my first year in college, part of a national championship, it looks like. Bobby Bowden very mad at his team for going out there on the field. I don't know what the penalty is. That's going back to the 20, so it's a 10-yard penalty?
15-yard penalty.
15-yard penalty?
To the 20-yard line, so that will give Nebraska 15 free yards. And Bentley still has some work to do. No, it'll be Mowry who will kick it off. 2 15-yard penalties against Nebraska on that final drive. Their own worst enemy after playing so brilliantly and with so much heart all day, all night. And Tommy Frazier will have a chance for a couple more plays. Instead of kicking off from the 35, Mowry will have it teed at the 20 after the excessive celebration on Bentley's field goal. Did Bowden, and not wanting to risk a turnover or a foil play, give Nebraska too much time? We'll see. There's the line drive kick.
It's returnable.
It sure is. Out to the 40. Now to the 44-yard line. Ken Alexander makes the tackle on Baron Miles. And here's Frazier with 14 seconds. Time for, within some reason here, 2 pass plays. And again, Bennett's range, 47 yards. That means the 30 of Florida State. Well, they're at the 43. That's only 27 yards.
Don't start the celebration now. There's some football left here, and I think Bobby Bowden realizes it.
Frazier goes long for Bell. Almost made a terrific catch, juggling with the All-America Corey Sawyer covering. That was down at the 25-yard line. 8 seconds left.
Bell is a big receiver. 6'4½". Little bump there on Sawyer. Sawyer stays right with him. Sawyer plays that spot that was held at one time in Florida State by Deion Sanders and others.
Terrell Buckley played there as well.
Terrell Buckley, yes.
What a lineage. Now the Huskers need to click here. And there's some confusion. Bell, have gone off the field, just reports. 10 seconds on the play clock. 8 seconds left in the game. Over the middle to Bell. And Bell tackled with 1 second to go. No. They didn't stop the clock soon enough. They should have a second left here. He was clearly down before the final 0 went up. And the officials did not call it, and Osborne can't believe it.
Dick, I agree with you totally. He was down. Clock should be stopped. There should be another play.
There should have been time. And Osborne very calmly is pointing at the clock, seeing what we did, that the tackle made. And now the officials are sending both teams off the field.
The hit by Derek Brooks.
The tackle And he goes down right there. So there's 2 seconds left for Nebraska. And certainly the game was not over.
Oh, what agony for both of these coaches. Bobby Bowden has already been doused with the water.
Now, how tough is it to be able to position yourself for a national title? But right down to the final second. Now Nebraska, as soon as they'll wind the clock, as soon as the ball is set. So Nebraska best have their field goal unit out there in place ready to snap, because as soon as the official has everyone in position, he'll wind the clock. Unless Nebraska, well, they do have a timeout. They can call time here. They can call and probably will call. They have one timeout left. What a finish.
25! Bobby Bowden, in the meantime, was surrounded by the press photographers. He really had no idea what was going on, Dick.
Now the ball is spotted inside the 35, so it is still a very long attempt. Looks as if Bennett will be kicking from around the 42, which would be a 52-yard attempt, well beyond his career long. And he's kicking into what little breeze there is.
Look, we've got Nebraska coaches out here talking to the officials. A good 12 or 15 yards on the field here. Yeah. I just saw Tom Osborne say 7. Do you think he's going to get 7 seconds for this? No way. Oh, he's trying to get where the ball was down. 25 is what he's saying.
Let's go back to that. I thought he had made more progress than where the ball is spotted at the 34, and in all that confusion, the ball could have been moved, or the official might have been pushed away from the spot. Let's see where the ball, Tremaine Bell, actually goes down. Frazier throwing right down the middle of the tight end. And
it's right on the yard marker, whichever it is.
The 29, not the 34. That's the 29-yard line where he was tackled, not the 34. So that would make a huge difference, because it puts the kick instead of 52 to 47. There's the 30.
The 30. Knee down at the 31.
29. Well, the 29 or the 34.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And I would guess that the officials would have some contact with an official upstairs that would correct that call. That would be an injustice, and Bobby Bowden be the first one who'd step out and say, put the ball where it belongs.
Except I don't think there is any way for an official upstairs to communicate with these officials to change anything. That doesn't happen in college football. They're in total control down there. And these officials are from from the Big East, and
have not had a particularly good night, by the way.
They probably don't want anybody to tell them where the ball should be.
Well,
what a bizarre
it should
finish.
be at the 29, which would be a 46, 47-yard field goal, and we told you Bennett's longest is 48 this year. The referee is checking with the press box, and that would seem the just.
But who makes the decision from the press box?
Well, we've got physical evidence. They have television sets and officials up here, press box officials, and we're able to see our replay. A reminder, too, there is a breeze. It's blowing into the kick will go into the open end of the Orange Bowl. Just to confirm the spot where Tremaine Bell is tackled. He's at the 40. He's at the 35, the 30, and tackled at the 29. Spotted at the 28-yard line.
That surprises me.
So that would make it a 45 or 46-yard attempt with 1 second on the clock.
And meanwhile, Bobby Bowden is still drying off his glasses from the dousing from his players after they thought they'd already won his and their first national championship.
Boy, the way they're tearing emotion out of the fans, the players, the coaches. Nebraska, with a little over a minute left, have the lead on the 27-yard field goal by Bennett, 16-15. And then Florida State battles down, and they kick the 22-yarder, only to have Frazier make that long pass, and now 45 yards to steal it from Florida State and to give Cinderella Nebraska a tremendous win and a national championship. And he hooked it left. Florida State wins.
is in position for a national championship with only Notre Dame to beat. After 2 wide rights for the Seminoles, Bowden agonizingly watches one go left. O.J.
Yeah, Coach. Coach sort of poetic justice that it came down to a field goal, but this time you won.
You know what? Thinking it's lose. I was thinking we're going to end up getting beat by a field goal again.
But one thing you might get criticism for is that you didn't let time run off that clock before you kicked the field goal.
Oh, yeah, then our kids run out there and get a 15-yard penalty. Oh, yeah, we wasn't very smart. We didn't play very smart offensively tonight.
But somehow I think you'll take all of this.
I'll take every bit of it and the rest of it they can see what they can.
In the second half, your team seemed to pick it up.
Well, we did. Offense was hash. Our offense, I didn't think was very good tonight.
Well, congratulations, Coach.
Thank you, O.J.
Deckenberg.
All right, O.J. Simpson with all the crowd and around the victorious head coach Bobby Bowden. Tough for that microphone, but I think we got the essence of it all. He's happy with the victory, obviously, but how agonizingly close he came to having another one denied.
What torture for both teams in this situation. This again, not even close.
This one not close, but there was a fumble, remember, on a Florida State touchdown on the goal line, controversial, and a Nebraska punt return for a touchdown called back by a penalty that we couldn't find. So that close to victory were the Cornhuskers, and there'll be a lot to chew on in the winter in Lincoln and throughout the great state of Nebraska. If ever a team played big, Nebraska did tonight.
Yes, they did.
And there's so many ways that Tom Osborne could be on the shoulders of his team.
I think it lays to rest this thing about playing on New Year's Day and not measuring up. This team showed great character, and Florida State almost offered them the opportunity for a championship, and they almost took advantage of it.
Bobby Bowden could write a full chapter on his emotions in the last seconds of this day.
And when everybody around the country was saying that a national championship would finally get the monkey off his back, he said, to get my wife off my back about this championship.
Two friends, two legends. Bobby Bowden gets the win. Tom Osborne sees it 18-16. Hannah?
Ooh, after all that, Florida State appears to have at least a share of the national title. We would talk about that scenario in just a moment. But first, let's run through the scores one last time for you. Again, the final in a wild one at the Orange Bowl, 18-16 Florida State. Bobby Bowden has put himself in position for his first national championship, as well as Florida State University in position for their first national title. Tom Osborne has no chance. He still does not have a national title in 21 years of coaching the Nebraska Cornhuskers, although a valiant effort by the 17.5-point underdog tonight. Elsewhere in college football, in the Sugar Bowl, West Virginia came in undefeated, untied, no shot at a national title, though, as they lose to Florida 41-7. Eric Rett had 3 touchdowns for the Gators. Notre Dame made its case today in the Cotton Bowl, 24-21 over Texas A&M. We'll have more on that in just a moment. In the Rose Bowl, it was Wisconsin winning its first ever Rose Bowl with a victory over UCLA, 21-16. Arizona shocking Miami, shutting them out 29-0. The Hurricanes could fall out of the top 10 for the first time since 1984. In the Florida Citrus Bowl, it was Penn State over Tennessee, 31-13. Joe Paterno's 15th bowl victory, tying Bear Bryant's record. Boston College 31-13 over Virginia. The Eagles win 9 of their last 10 games after dropping their first 2. And Michigan got 2 touchdowns from one of the preseason Heisman candidates, Tyron Wheatley, as they beat NC State 42-7. So the question now is, who's number 1? Florida State or Notre Dame? Florida State began the day number 1 in the writers' poll. Both Nebraska and West Virginia have lost. Notre Dame beat Texas A&M by 3 points today. More importantly, Notre Dame beat Florida State head-to-head back in November in the so-called game of the century. Earlier, Irish coach Lou Holtz weighed in with his opinion.
All I can say is this. I think that if no football team in this country is undefeated, I certainly believe that this football team in there deserves a national championship.
Okay, there is precedent here. In 1989, Notre Dame lost to Miami in the regular season. That year, Notre Dame and Miami both won their bowl games. Notre Dame finished 12-1. Miami finished 11-1. Miami was awarded the national championship by virtue of their victory in the regular season over Notre Dame. And another point, if we apply the tiebreaker used by the NFL, the first tiebreaker in NFL play, head-to-head competition. But it's up to the pollsters right now. They will weigh in tomorrow morning, and we will bring you the results on NFL Live at 12:30 Eastern. Right now, let's head back to the Orange Bowl and Dick and Bob.
As we watch Scott Bentley's winning field goal, 18-16, we could add that both Tom Osborne and Bobby Bowden would say that coaches know during the season, if you lose an undefeated season late in the year, that's your chance at a national championship. And Tom Osborne has been campaigning. If we go unbeaten, there should be no doubt about it. So based on that, the controversy will continue and the voters will decide. And who knows, we may have dual champions once again, Florida State and Notre Dame. How do the voters separate? Final score here in the Federal Express Orange Bowl, 18-16 Florida State for Bob Trumpy. This is Dick Enberg wishing you a safe, happy New Year, everyone. This has been a presentation of NBC Sports, home of Super Bowl 28.
Hello and welcome everyone to a very exciting Sports Center. Along with Chris Myers, I'm Carl Ravitch. It may be a new year, but there was something very old, very familiar about this year's Orange Bowl.
Now, this one was really something special, Carl. It'll go down as one of the greatest finishes ever between 1 and number 2, a game that came down to the last play, and a game that after it was over had Bobby Bowden wondering if he had won it or if he had lost it. Ironic that his national championship hope would come down to a field goal. Miami, the place to be. Nebraska and Florida State, 1 against 2. Tom Osborne and Bobby Bowden both hoping for that elusive national championship. Now, the Huskers appeared to get off to the quick start. Corey Dixon on the punt return goes 70-plus yards for the touchdown that would have given the Huskers the lead, but the official, John Safi, signals Nebraska for a penalty, an illegal block called on Tyrone Williams. Into the third quarter, Nebraska leading 7-6, but Charlie Ward flips it to Kevin Knox for a 40-yard pickup, and 2 plays later, William Floyd in for the touchdown, but it looked like the ball came loose on the replay. It appeared it was a fumble. It counts. Seminoles have the 12-7 lead. Nebraska's star running back Calvin Jones on the sideline, but the Huskers didn't suffer with Lawrence Phillips taking it in from 12 yards out. They missed the 2-point try. It's a 15-13 game. Fourth quarter, Tommy Frazier on the keeper. 21-yard pickup all the way down inside the 10-yard line of Florida State. Byron Bennett, who had missed his last 4 kicks, a 27-yard field goal with 1:16 left, and Nebraska with a 16-15 lead. But Charlie Ward, the Heisman winner and hopefully the Orange Bowl winner, less than a minute to go to Warwick Dunn for 25 yards, and then they call a personal foul on top of that. Tom Osborne couldn't believe it. Costly mistakes. Scott Bentley, he's the guy they recruited. Could have gone to Notre Dame, could have gone to Nebraska. 27-yard field goal for the Seminoles. They lead 18-16, but 21 seconds left. Frazier to Trumaine Bell for the 30-yard pickup. Now, he's down in plenty of time. The clock ran out. We thought the game was over, but Tom Osborne says, no, there's still time. And his kicker gets another shot from 46 yards away on the game's final play. And a tough finish for Osborne as the Seminoles hang on and now should be college football's mythical national champions. Florida State extending its bowl winning streak to 9 games. The Cornhuskers have lost now 7 consecutive bowl games. And you know, Carl, Auburn is college football's only unbeaten team.
So Bennett misses, Bentley makes. Let's get back to Bentley for a second. Nebraska wanted him. When he said no, Tom Osborne flew to Colorado anyway. And when Bentley told Lou Holtz he wasn't going to Notre Dame, Holtz reportedly says, you just didn't make a 4-year mistake, you made a 40-year mistake, as Bentley's father graduated from Notre Dame in '67.
Great game played by both teams. 10 years ago to the day, January 2nd, that Osborne went for the 2-point conversion on the last play of the game against Miami. That's what a tie would have assured him of the national title that he still searches for. Now let's join Chris Fowler and crew at the Orange Bowl.
Chris, Carl, thank you very much. You guys have hit on the key word, I think, irony, a fitting ending to what's been a crazy, dramatic, and ironic season. A field goal of all things, apparently winning a national championship for Bobby Bowden. We have to say, apparently, the pollsters will decide things as far as the coaches and the media in the wee hours. But remember this, no AP #1 team has ever dropped after winning their bowl game. And the Noles, of course, were #1 coming in. Notre Dame will make the claim based on the head-to-head. But for Bobby Bowden, regardless of what the pollsters vote in the wee hours tonight, he knows his team came and won the game billed as the national championship game. Sweet after so many years.
It was just our time. That's the only thing I can say. It was just our time because Nebraska played as good or better than we did.
Charlie, what do you feel now?
Just happy. Very happy that it's over. The Lord has blessed us to be in this position, and I knew it was going to happen. It had to happen. I think with the talent that we have and the coaching staff, it's going to be rocky sometimes. But like the coaching says, bring the ship in and do what it takes to win. I think we did that all season long. And like I said, the ship is definitely docked in Tallahassee tonight, 1994, national champions.
Apparently, some keys to victory. Nebraska penalties. They will complain about the officiating vociferously. Irony, you want more of that? Florida State, normally the heavily penalized team. Ward again brilliant in the second half and on that final 60-yard drive. And Scott Bentley, how ironic would it be, as those guys mentioned, the guy who almost went to Notre Dame, perhaps costing the Irish their national championship and giving it to Bobby Bowden. The game plan, Warwick Dunn figuring in late.
Well, a complete chaotic sideline in that ball game. Yes, Warwick Dunn was a vital part of it, but the composure of Charlie Ward, the Heisman Trophy winner, really came through in that final drive. He was the guy that allowed them to win the championship game. Now, also, you look back to the second half in the beginning when Bobby Bowden decided to go to all shotgun so that he could get Charlie Ward the opportunity to get out of the pocket. He said, hey, we're getting whipped up front. Nebraska's getting after us. We got to have a chance through the shotgun.
You guys mentioned Warwick Dunn. I tell you what, he did a couple of great plays. But remember, this is the same player that helped Florida State beat Florida in an 80-yard drive to get to this game. Now watch Warwick Dunn here. What they do in this last drive is they put a man-for-man on a linebacker. There's no linebacker in the country that can cover this kid. Presence of mind to get out of bounds and stop the clock. Now they come back with the exact same play to the opposite side. See Charlie, see him come out of the backfield, Dunn catches it, goes down the sideline, steps out of bounds, gets right there. The penalty really cost them. But he did a nice job, and Bowden did a great job of slipping him in there for speed.
And Warwick Dunn, the roommate of Charlie Ward, a guy that Ward taken under his wing, certainly has to feel good for Charlie to get Warwick Dunn finally involved. As for Nebraska, they come here, they play valiantly. They do not end the bowl losing streak. They do not win the title, but they do in respect. They're still going to take it bitterly, though.
I was absolutely amazed by some of the officiating, to be real honest with you. I think it was the worst I've ever seen. And I'm not the type of player that blames stuff on that. So these things that you guys don't see, every time we touched him, we got screamed at. I don't know what the deal was, whether they were trying to save him for basketball or what, but it seemed like their little, their little cousin out there that they were trying to protect. So,
hey, I'm telling you, if we didn't gain respect tonight, then I don't think we should ever gain respect. I think the press, the media, the fans from all across the country should give us respect, because no one expected us to play Florida State this close.
You know, if we lose by a couple points here on their field with injuries and we got a loss, they got a loss, maybe somebody will.
Incredibly gutsy performance by Nebraska.
No question. I also, want to mention Chuck McBride, the defensive coordinator from Nebraska, did a magnificent job. No one in the world would ever think Nebraska's Big Red could hold Florida State to one touchdown. Boy.
Well, a pie in my face, because I didn't believe Nebraska was this good of a football team. I talked to just about every Florida State player. They all said unanimously Nebraska's the next best team in America, that they are the best opponent they played all year.
Great effort, but Florida State's 2-minute offense and a field goal kicker of all things. Scott Bentley wins it for the Seminoles 18-16. We'll come back a little bit later on. We'll talk about the big picture, and Bobby Bowden will join us. There is the man of the hour for Florida State. Welcome back to Miami. Florida State 18, Nebraska 16. And a classic ball game here. And apparently the long national championship quest for Bobby Bowden is over. The pollsters among the media and the coaches will have to decide that one in the wee hours. And welcome back. Coach Bowden joins us. What a ball game. Explain the emotional roller coaster for you. Nebraska kicks a field goal. You drive down, kick a field goal. They drive down, have another chance.
I couldn't believe it. There was 4 endings to it. With a couple minutes left, they drive down, kick a field goal, put them ahead. All right, then we come back and kick one and go ahead of them. Then they come back down, and it looks like the game is over. You know, and I get drenched. Then I run out on the field as slow as I can because the crowd's out there. I get to the other side, they inform me there's a second left on the clock. And I saw it when it was 0-0-0. So anyway, I look at the ball. It's on the 34. I said, it's 34 plus 10 is 44, plus 7 is 50-something yards. He can't kick one that far. We're going to probably be all right. Then the official says, we're having to check where the ball's got to be located. And he comes up and he says, Coach, I got to move it up 8 yards. God, I'm thinking about you ain't going to win no national championship. You simply are not going to win one. Then the guy misses one, and we're very lucky.
Bobby, you know, Nebraska, you can't say enough about Osborne, the game plan, and the character of that football team, can you?
Oh, I sure can't. I'm going to tell you what, they're good as anybody we played. I really mean that. Notre Dame was the best football team we played before we came here. To me, Nebraska is as good as anybody we played, whatever that means. Take it what it's worth. Tom Osborne had them prepared, I thought, much better than we did. We were very frustrated the first half, offensively. Our defense has won this ball game, and then our 2-minute offense saved it for us.
Coach, do you feel for Tom Osborne right now?
I sure do, except I don't know of any man that can take it better than Tom. I think Tom can take it better than I could have taken it. If I'd have lost that game, we'd have lost that game today, I would have really been, I'd have been distraught. You know, I mean, more of the fact that I hadn't won one than the fact that I don't have a championship. But Tom, I'm sure, can handle that better than I can. And he deserved to win it tonight.
Ironic that a field goal kicker wins it. That's the trouble you've had with kickers. But the guy who went out and recruited to win a national championship apparently has done so.
Isn't that amazing? Scott Bentley. We had a kicker, Dan Maurer, who did an excellent job. And our coaches, I said, look, if we can find somebody that can improve our team, get them, no matter what they play. Well, there's this kicker out in Denver that can make us better. So we signed him. And so you think, well, the Miami game is when it'll happen. Well, it didn't happen the Miami game. You say, well, it'll be the Notre Dame game. No, the Notre Dame, it didn't happen. Well, it's got to be the Florida game. No, it wasn't. But in the last game of the year for the national championship, the guy puts it through there and allows us to win a national championship.
Apparently. Now, there's been a lot of politicking. Notre Dame, based on the head-to-head, looking back to '89 when Miami defeated them, will make their claim. Your argument?
Well, my argument is go ahead and vote the way you see. My argument would be we won 12 games. How many did y'all win? 11? Y'all won 11. Okay, they're going to say, yeah, but we beat you head-to-head. I said, yeah, at your place. At your place, in your backyard. And then you lost the next week to number 16, and we didn't, especially at home. You know, so, I mean, you can counter every argument somebody's got. Take it on a full season and see who you think had the best team on a full season. I thought Florida State did.
Bobby, 36 years ago, you and I started coaching together, right? You were at South Georgia College.
Douglas, Georgia. You were a freshman coach at FSU, and I was a head football coach, me and Vince Gibson, at South Georgia College.
Bobby, you finally won a national championship. You're 64 years old. Maybe, do you think? You know what I mean, Bobby?
Are you asking him it's time to go?
It's a great ending to a story and to make a great movie. Burt Reynolds could play you and everything. What do you think, Bobby? You think you'll keep on going?
And you're an alumni too, aren't you, huh?
Yes, sir.
You're trying to get me to leave, ain't you?
No, I know.
You're trying to get me to resign.
I'm just
No,
saying.
I don't want to, Lee. I want to coach as long as my health is good and as long as I can win enough games that Florida State don't want me to leave. So as long as the good Lord gives me help, I'm going to try to stay out there.
All right, well, congratulations, whatever the posters say. Terrific ball game. 18-16, Florida State over Nebraska, and the celebration is on after a lot of years of frustration. We'll continue in a minute.
This bowl update is brought to you by Duracell batteries. No other battery lasts longer. Of CNN Sports.
Next on CNN Sports, who will ride into the sunset as college football's top team? It's bowling season, so put the shoes on. The Huskers got their kicks in Miami, but the Seminoles paint the town red, squeezing out an Orange Bowl win by a foot. The Mountaineers tried to scale new heights. Will there be a national title in Morgantown? No. The Gators rock and roll, leading Bourbon Street with a sweet sensation. The Irish stake their claim at the top spot, upending A&M again. Wisconsin makes a run for the Roses. We've got flying bucks and a preview of things to come in the NFL. We'll bowl you over next. Florida to North Florida and everywhere in between. Florida State fans are rejoicing after the Seminoles moved into position for the national championship. The Noles' last-second win over Nebraska in the Orange Bowl appears to have given them at least a share of their first national title. We'll find out who's #1 Sunday morning. Hi, folks, and welcome to Sports Late Night. I'm Tom Steiner.
And I'm Paul Runnels. Wow, they certainly saved the best for last. 9 bowl games on tap, and it came down to the final seconds, and, well, we still don't know who's #1 yet, do we?
It's up to the voters, but the field goal kickers in the Orange Bowl keeping the fans on the edge of their seat. Wow, what a game. This is what a national title matchup is all about. Tense, riveting action that kept the fans guessing all night long. And you got to give the 17-point underdog Huskers some credit. They showed tremendous heart with a 10-point fourth quarter, only to be outdone by a freshman kicker in the end. The coaches, more than 400 wins between them, but 0 national titles. Bobby Bowden and company preventing Tom Osborne from taking top honors back to Lincoln. Huskers getting the early breaks in this one. Tommy Fraser's pass is tipped right into the waiting arms of Reggie Ball, who has a ball and a free trip to the end zone. Nebraska 7-3. Third quarter Heisman Trophy winner Charlie Ward, the big 40-yard gainer to Kevin Knox. That would set up a Noles touchdown. The 2-point conversion was no good, so they were up. Late in the fourth, Tommy Fraser, the big 32-yard run up the right side. He cut it back, nearly broke it, but was finally hauled down, and that led to a go-ahead field goal for the Huskers. They take the 1-point lead. Under a minute to go, plenty of time for Ward and the Noles. Ward hooks up with Warwick Dunn on a big gainer, and then the late hit, 15-yard penalty, and that pushed the Noles into field goal range for Scott Bentley. Under 30 seconds to go, a 22-yard field goal, and he's dead center perfect, converting the biggest kick in FSU history. The celebration was on prematurely. Tommy Fraser leading the Huskers back to Tremaine Bell, got it down to field goal range. Looks like the clock expired, so the Noles celebrate, but this is premature as well. Here comes Byron Bennett for Nebraska. Can he make this 45-yard field goal? For the win, not even close. He hooks it left. Bowden and the Noles survive a gut-wrenching night in the Orange Bowl to beat the Huskers by 2 points. But will they sit atop the college football world? What a finish to the '93 season. Now, Nebraska uncharacteristically committed numerous turnovers throughout the ballgame, including that controversial illegal block that wiped out a 71-yard punt return for a touchdown late in the first quarter. Bentley, the SI cover boy, heavily recruited by Notre Dame, booted an Orange Bowl record-tying 4 field goals to give the Noles their record-equaling 9th straight bowl victory. While Bowden appears to have at least a piece of the title pie, Tom Osborne goes home empty-handed for the 21st straight season. CNN's Paul Crane has more from Miami.
Thank you very much, Tom. Wow, what a game here tonight. So many different stories in this one as it went down to the final tick of the clock and then a second final tick of the clock. But the bottom line is Florida State believes it has taken one big monkey off head coach Bobby Bowden's back with at least a piece of the national championship.
I guess it was just our time. That's the only thing I can say. It was just our time because Nebraska played as good or better than we did. Our offense was not very good today. We just did not have it offensively, you know. And we just there was nothing. They were just not clicking. But yet they put enough good plays together to win.
I thrive in those situations, and you know, being a Heisman Trophy winner and also being an All-American, guys like myself have to make plays like that and lead my team down the field. And that's part of my job description, and I've been doing the whole season, and my teammates, you know, follow suit.
It feels better than I don't know what. I mean, it's just Notre Dame thought they had the last laugh, but I don't think so.
Nebraska thought it had the game and the championship won, and then didn't. And there are some on the Husker side who believe it was taken away.
I was absolutely amazed by some of the officiating, to be real honest with you. I think it was the worst I've ever seen. And I'm not the type of player that blames stuff on that. But these things that you guys don't see, every time we touched him, we got screamed at. I don't know what the deal was, whether they were trying to save him for basketball or what, but it seemed like their little, their little cousin out there that they were trying to protect.
I'm glad that Bobby Bowden got his national championship, and I'm sorry we didn't. Maybe, as I said, somebody will vote us a championship. I don't know. We'll just have to see. We got the same number of losses, but who knows what people will do.
I think anytime there's all that kind of confusion going on and you have a 3, 4, 5, 6 minute delay, however long it was, I didn't know how it seemed like eternity to me. But yeah, it's going to take a toll on anybody. But kickers are supposed to be mentally tough, and I should have hit it.
We beat the #1 team, and that's what it took to win. You know,
There's going to be some controversy surrounding the national title every year until it be a playoff. But we feel that we're the national champs, and no one can tell us different right now.
With the win by Florida State, Charlie Ward becomes the first Heisman Trophy winner to be on a national championship team since Tony Dorsett at Pittsburgh in 1976. And about that championship, there is still some voting left to do. Be sure to be with us Sunday morning on College Coaches Corner when we'll reveal the new USA Today CNN Coaches Poll and crown the coaches half of the national championship. That's 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Pacific Time on College Coaches Corner. For now, that's it from the Orange Bowl in Miami. We send it back.